Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching this, welcome to Gaming Circle Podcast, a podcast where usually my brother from another mother, Mr. Everborn Saga, and I attempt to, make some sense of the craziness in the gaming streets and all that. But this week, as you can tell, there's probably a bit of changes on your screen, and I think all the change is good changes for the better. We have, first off, Mr. Everborn Saga had some family time this week, so we wish him the best, and we'll see him next week. But I think it's a good upgrade, right? Because this week I'm excited to be joined by the one and only, the man who's out here backslapping fools with facts on the streets. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. SloMoBackSlap. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing today?
Bro, how is it going, man? I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I'm glad to be on this side of the conversation where I get to actually engage. Unfortunately, Everborn had to back out. He had to skedaddle once I was coming through. You know how all that talk. All that barking but no bite.
Shenanigans,
I'm kidding. Shout out to him and working family over everything, right? So like,
of course,
all this stuff is for funny games and hobbies and just like enthusiasts like us in tech and gaming getting together and discussing things with one another that like stuff that we enjoy so much, which is like video games and stuff. But family is way more important than any of that stuff. So yeah, shout out to him and all the stuff that he's got going on today.
And for the record, I know some folks have been excited about the potential of us having you guys on, and because so that you're aware, you guys are the veterans on the block. We're the new kids, right? But every time people come on our show
now, wow.
Oh yeah, you guys are veterans in the game, player. Come on now. We're the new guys talking to you, right? And every time anybody comes in our chat, they go, "Yo, this is SloMo and Forte 2.0." I'm like, come on now. These we're walking on the shoulders of giants over here. So that whole DPS Game Circle podcast cross needs to happen sooner or later. Hopefully we'll get the logistics work.
We go get it figured out.
For sure.
The homie Forte, shout out to him.
Indeed, shout out to Forte. Yes, unfortunately we couldn't have him today, but we will rectify that. We'll work the logistics. Probably have him on here probably next week, if not the next. We'll work the timing on him, and then one of these days soon we can do a nice little four-man team and have some interesting conversations. I suspect that one's going to be a bit of a slanderous situation, but we'll see.
Of course, there will be mud slung. There will be shots.
It'll be everywhere. I suspect. Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. But yes, so for those who are, and thank you for the few who are in here right now with us. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, check the show notes where you will see the links for Mr. SloMoBackSlap's Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not there now, it will be by the time this is posted. And please make sure you follow this man. If you're even remotely entertained by what we do here, you will appreciate his content and his brother Forte as well. So let's get this thing started a little light and airy for those who the few who may not know exactly who you are and what you do in this gaming space. Please go ahead and give us a light overview of what you're about and how long you've been doing what you're doing.
Well, I've been a gamer all my life, for the majority of my life. I don't want to get into like full gaming history, but I'll just start with the beginning and give you the cliff notes. So
sure.
5 years old, I go over to my godbrother's house and he's like, man, I got something to show you. I'm like, oh, what is it? It's another stupid board game. I don't care about board games anymore. He's like, no, I got a Nintendo. And I was like,
ooh,
you got a Nintendo? No. He's like, yeah. Well, let me show you. And we played Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt for the whole day. And I was sold.
That's great.
I went back home and I said, Ma, I want a Nintendo. And she's like, I ain't got Nintendo money. So I'm begging for a Nintendo for months. And then finally I get this box given to me. And it's a cardboard box. I look in the box and Nintendo. But it is an Atari 2600. And I'm like,
nice.
And it's a whole bunch of games, right? Yeah. And it's just like, at the time, I didn't realize like the value that was. But I got it once I started to like hook it up and play all these games that I had that were like, but eventually I did get myself a Nintendo, right? But like from going from there, I was just like tuned into gaming. Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy. Well, for us, it was Final Fantasy 2, but it was Final Fantasy 4 in Japan. Getting it that was my introduction into RPGs, and I was sold. Halo, that was my introduction into GoldenEye was my introduction to first person shooters, but like Halo was the pinnacle, like it was nothing, no first person shooter was done like this before. And and this was now finally a time where all of my friends it was almost like we were young kids again, but now we were like adults hanging out at each other's house to the crack of dawn, playing, multiplayer Halo. So yeah, that's even in college when you know how college is,
I remember the Ethernet cables being all over the place.
Ethernet cables all over the place. You meeting girls on campus that they hit you with the whole, hey, you want to watch a movie sometime? You know what that was code for? Sure, absolutely. They come in your room and they see video games, Halo posters, and they're like, the hell? It's just like, what are you doing? But like,
that's when gaming wasn't hot.
right. Back then it was just like, you still do this? I'm like, yeah, okay, you're gonna have to chill on the shade, but that's been me. I got into career wise, I'm a network engineer. Got into that a little late in the game, but I work primarily with Cisco. I do some scripting,
nice.
a little bit of Python. I know a little bit of C#, not too much. I know enough to handle my own, but
I knew I picked the right co-host this week. Kindred spirits. Let's do this. Yes.
I don't know, and I probably don't know enough not to break something and not know how to fix it. So like, I can handle my own. I do a lot of also system administration stuff. The company I work for is very small, so when you work for, I love working for small companies. Anyone's ever interested in IT, work for small companies, especially when you first get started out. Even though I've been with my company for about 8 years now, but if you work for a small company when you first get started out, you will get to wear a lot of hats.
Do a lot of different things because necessity.
Yes, necessity. They got, look, we don't have a guy for this. Hey, somebody volunteer. You be that volunteer.
Now, you learn a lot real quick.
You will learn so much real quick, and then you can take that, and then like when you throw all that stuff in your resume and you're looking for other places to go, you now have skill sets that other people don't. Exactly. And it's so that's the, if any advice I can give anyone in regards to what we do that would be
great advice.
So legit for you. But look, man, the YouTube thing.
Yeah, I want to know more. And Beast Mode is asking, was this early 80s you got the 2600? The Atari 2600?
This was like 80. Okay. For me, it was like 86. It was like in 1980. Yeah, it was definitely because I was born in 81. I was around 5 or 6 years old. It was definitely 86.
There you go. He's giving you the respect well deserved. Legit coder. That's right. Man. So I want to know when, because like it's been said. And it's been made fun of, but you're more of a PC gamer than anything else. You play consoles, but you're more of a PC gamer. Is that an accurate description?
I look. I accept any labels people give me now. Okay.
People I usually don't appreciate that because that then categorizes people to label you a certain way. You play where the games are.
I play where the games are. I accept the labels because ever since I've been in this gaming community, that people think I'm all over the place with my opinions. The thing is that I don't have any kind of allegiance to any platform or company. So I don't care when people are like, hey, you can't say X, or you can't say why about this platform because you're supposed to be this. And I'm like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
It's how I feel. If I got a problem with something Phil Spencer said, I got a problem with
Speak
something
on
Phil
it. That's
Spencer
right.
said.
That's right.
If I got a problem with something Jim Ryan said, you damn sure well I'm going to say it. If I got a problem with something that's going on PC, then I'm going to say so. Or if you know how I am with Nintendo, I got all kinds of smoke for Nintendo, and I'm going to let them know. And
indeed.
And whenever you do that, you know, people have this very limited mindset where it's like, oh, because of what you're saying right now, you must be in this category.
Yep.
If
Exactly.
you say something that is
you automatically label yourself, or because what you're saying is not necessarily to their liking, you must be labeled the other.
Exactly. So, like, if I say something that is criticism towards something that Sony is doing, oh, you must be an Xbox. If I say something that is critical of something that Xbox Game Studios is doing, oh, you must be a pony. If I say something that, like, it's just, you know, for Everborn, who probably eventually be listening to this, strictly facts in regards to PC gaming, to console gaming, oh, you must be PCMR. It's just like there is, you know, that's why at this point now I'm just like, call me whatever you want. You know, call me a pony, call me a bot. I used to be in Lucas Discord, and I used to have changed my name to the Green Pony, and I actually had like a little a picture as my profile picture of an actual green pony, because it's just like every time I would jump in the Discord, every single time people would be like, "Oh, SloMo, you're such a bot." I'm like, "For what?" Y'all called me a pony yesterday. Now I'm a bot. Now, when I first did start doing this YouTube thing, I didn't even own a gaming PC. I built my PC.
There you go.
Back in 2019. I used to, and you could probably speak to this, and I'm pretty sure even Everborn would agree with this. Hey, what's up? Is we got
Craig? Yes, we got Mr. Boomstick in here. Yes, indeed. Welcome, sir.
I used to working with servers all day, working with, you know, all this stuff all day. You come home, and I used to always have this mindset, I don't feel like doing the same stuff I did at work at home when I'm trying to play games. I just want to keep it simple.
Yep.
Have someone else do the work for me already and just play my games and enjoy. But I was talking with the homie Forte, and Forte was like, dude, it's not even as bad when it comes to the troubleshooting side of things as it used to be. And I'm like, you know what? All right, let's do it. So I built the PC.
What year was this? This was how long ago was this?
This is 2019. This is
2019. Okay. So not too long ago. Cool.
Really not too long ago at all. And I put it together. It only took me a couple of hours. It's easy mode. Anybody can build a PC. Honestly,
of course. Yes.
Yeah, it's easy. Put it together. I had a 2070 Super. The majority, I would say probably the majority of my PC build is still the same. I've done some upgrades since then. Upgrade the RAM.
Hold on.
32.
A new challenger has joined us, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Boomstick XL.
Listen, I'm loving the PC Master Race story. Who knew? Who knew?
What's going on?
Nah, nothing much. Listen, Mrs. Boom had to go in. They activated her site for a cooling center, which is
okay.
She never worked Saturday, so she was pissed. And she's supposed to start her vacation yesterday, and she's starting it at 4 today when she gets off. But I figured I had some time. The house is clean. I've been playing Hades. I ain't going back. I'm just gonna say that right now. Game of the year? Question.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this. Hell yeah,
we're
gonna talk about this. This is
more
great.
than Death's Door,
because I love everything about the game except for the core mechanic. I think it's stupid. But that's just, you know, we're gonna get it.
We're gonna talk about this. So he's not a roguelike person. Okay, that's the conversation.
No, I am not. But please continue your story.
Yes, go ahead,
because I'm gonna be honest with you, SloMo. I don't know if I'm ever gonna join. Right now, we're in a small apartment in New Rochelle. We're looking to get something, you know, that's going to be ours. Maybe sometime, hopefully next year. Hopefully, I think that once I have the space, I'm getting one of those wraparound monitors. I think I'm going to build my own PC,
boom,
and I'm going to give it a shot.
Oh, you talking? Look, hey, boom. Hold on now.
A revelation live on the air.
You can get started now. Just start slow, right? Like
very
especially
slow.
now with the way the PC market is, where they're like it's. The pandemic has also kind of exacerbated some of this, but the chip shortage and other issues have allowed the PC market to really be pricing themselves in a way where it's really not conducive to get into PC gaming right now. But there are other components to your PC that aren't affected by that right now. Like actually CPUs are actually at their normal pricing. So is RAM. A motherboard,
everything besides
high.
a GPU, really, you'll still be able to get cost-effective pricing right now.
And even due to the consoles and everything, storage is now dropping, and really good storage. So it's like you could start like and because you're not quite ready to spend all that money yet, you can go piece by piece. You could let me go buy my case. You can get a good case for under $100.
Let's Sherpa this man. We're gonna help you out, Mr. Boomstick.
Look, I love it.
I'm gonna send you a PC part picker list.
I was about to say the same thing. Let's configure him a PC part picker.
Oh man, I can't wait. I love doing this. This is like the man cave version of when women want to give other women a makeover. They get all excited. Oh, I can't wait to put makeup on you.
I can't wait to show you the GPUs.
It's funny. If Brap was here, he might have passed out live on the air.
Oh, I know, right? Like Enrique would have lost it by now. He was been screaming PCMR like 6 or 7 times already. But no,
you know what? I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, I was just gonna say that, like, to kind of finish up with me.
Yeah. Please do.
I do primarily game on my PC now, but that's just because it's more convenient, and I love performance over everything. And for me, and I know some people would get super annoyed with like, oh, well, this doesn't work right, or oh, I need to upgrade my drivers. Oh, like, I get it. But for me, that's nothing. So it's literally
it's par for the course for PC users. Yes.
Right. So at this point, it's like, yeah, I play every game I played this year for the most part, unless I chosen not to, has been over 120 frames per second. Wow, I got 3070 now. I mostly play at 1440p ultra settings. Every now and then I have my secondary monitor because I do a dual monitor setup. Is a 4K 60.
By the way, I saw your gigabyte recommendation for that 27-inch. I'm like, I have a 40. I have an ultra wide, but it makes it hard to stream. So I needed like a proper format monitor. So I'm like, the man has a decent.
That thing is thinking about that thing. $600 monitor. That is 4K. 144 hertz, 1 millisecond refresh rate. It's only the only issue with it, because I did super, like, I went all deep into the reviews for it. The only issue with it is that the HD, it's kind of fake HDR, but a lot of monitors don't have real HDR anyway. It's really just like slightly brighter. It's like slightly brighter.
They didn't really like take it there. It's not HDR10 like it should be. It's kind of the fakey one.
If it's not HDR10, it ain't real. That's right. It's fake. It's fake sauce. So it's like, that's right. It's not that, but everything else about it is amazing, and that's like the cheapest of that level of monitor that's been out. Since, like, it's kind of breaking the mold, because most of them have been like $800 or higher, and this one performs like those do, better in some cases, but it's cheaper. So I'm like,
man, when I saw that on it, I was surprised. I was like, I might look into getting that myself. I was the fool who got into high refresh rate monitors when they were really in the early stages, but now of course they're much more cost effective. My thing won't break, so I can't replace it. Yeah, and they perform better. Mine had to be overclocked to get to 100 frames per second, but it is 100 frames per second. Ultra wide, I think it's 34-inch ultra wide. What is it? 1440p, 3440 by 1440p. So it's cool, but it's kind of old school, and it cost me like $1,500, and I feel like such a fool because now there's so much more cost effective. So I might be keeping an eye on that monitor, even though it's really hard to find anyway. I was looking at that. It's really hard to find. Like it's not anywhere, not even on Amazon. Like I was kind of surprised, but we'll have more PC hardware talk in a little bit because
I see some spiciness in the chat. Beast Mode telling me my 3070 is not PCMR level. I'm like, hey, look, that 3070 is more powerful than anything you've ever seen on a console, sir. So I know he's just kidding, but I like
that's
that.
true.
Like
yeah, he's just blowing smoke. Yes.
Rodimus says my favorite games of all time is PC Builder Simulator, which also
it's fun, man. It's fun.
Game. Oh,
what are you talking about?
I love that game.
It's a fun game. I played that too.
Man, I had no idea it was going to be that much fun. I actually downloaded just because I had when you build your PC and boom, you're going to feel this too one day, right? You build your PC and then you get this itch. You want to build another, but you don't want to spend the money you want building a PC. So I actually bought PC Builder Simulator off of Steam. It was on sale for like $5 because Steam always has these sales going on, and it's really fun though. Like you become like it's they create this little mini story where you're a guy who took over your uncle's PC like repair business and it's failing because your uncle sucks at business, and you go in, you got all these orders and you're just taking in the orders like, hey, this one has malware, reinstall Windows. This one something's wrong with it. Oh, your stupid uncle installed the CPU with no thermal paste. So you gotta take care of that. And it's like, meanwhile, you can listen to your own music.
Is this game on console as well? I wonder. I've seen it many times, but I wonder if there's a console version.
I think it's exclusive to PC.
No, but that's unfortunate though, isn't it?
Very
because like for Mr. Boomstick right here, who's thinking about putting a toe into the PC waters, this is the perfect game. You play it on console, it's fun, and then you learn something, and you can build a PC with it.
If it has achievements, I'll play it.
It has. It would if it was on console. Yeah,
right.
Sure would.
I think it should definitely be on console. It is weird that it's not, because it would teach people to learn how to build PCs because it's very good at that.
Yeah, and it's accurate to what you need to do. It is
a flight simulator of PC building. That's what that game is.
Yes,
it's good. It really is. I am surprised it's not on any place besides on actual PC. That's weird. Why would you make a game that only PC people can play about building PCs? You would want to put that on console.
You want to put that on console,
right? To get people into PC.
But I've said this before, and people don't like to hear it, but it's the truth. Like PC is where innovation begins. And it's not necessarily like anything inherent to PC, but like it's an open platform. So for indie developers, and indie developers drive innovation in the industry because big time publishers are typically like, oh, if it's not a proven idea, that we don't want to invest money in it for something that might actually not be profitable for us. So it makes sense that indie developers are the ones that actually drive innovation because they don't have someone telling them, no, don't put that in your game. They actually try different game design, and so
they get to be a bit weird with it. You're allowed to be weird with it. That's right.
Yeah, and when something hits, it hits good, and then that's when the big publishers go, oh, well, that game, that little small indie game did this, and that turned out really well. Can you implement that? And then that's when you start to see these things go other places. The battle royales, PUBG started it. Actually, DayZ, I think DayZ really started. But PUBG
DayZ kind of started, and then they took it, and it was a PC.
That was a
PC
only.
A while.
It was a PC only game until it with the Xbox, right?
That's right.
So many of these games, Among Us blows up. Like so many of these games were PC only, and then they went to other places. So it's that's where the innovation's at, man.
We see the mag real quick. We see the mag in here telling Boom, please don't do this. Spreadsheets.
I put it this way. It's funny. It's funny because it's something that I wouldn't do now, and I'm gonna tell you why. Mrs. Boomstick bought me a new PC for Christmas, and I have 17 and a half monitor. It's an all-in-one. Now I know that your PC guys like, wait, all-in-one.
They all have their use. They have their purpose.
It has done. As you guys have seen the upgrade in the channel since last year. I got gameplay. I got a ton of RAM. I got a ton of memory. It does everything. It's top of the line for the all-in-ones, and I get.
Let no one besmirch your hardware, sir.
No. Listen,
it serves your purpose. It's good.
It has, like I said, the point of the gift.
Speaking of gameplay,
was of course to upgrade what I could do with the channel, and I got gameplay running at 1080p on every show. I got there's no flipping.
Boom. Do you have a dedicated GPU in this?
Yes.
PC?
Yeah.
Oh, boom. We this changes everything.
There you go. You can game, my friend.
We can just upgrade your current PC. We don't even you don't even have to build a whole new one. You can just look.
His all-in-one though the discrete GPU might be a little bit bespoke, because I think I've seen a picture of his machine before. Yeah, it might not be easily upgradable, but what he has is pretty capable.
It does. It like I said,
it's pretty capable. He'll play some games on that thing.
Yeah, you definitely could. And it's funny because when I was offered to review the Ascent, they had offered me a PC code 2 weeks before, and I'm like, I don't know, my PC could handle it. That I know, but I don't want to play on PC. I want to play on my console. And there you go. But yeah, I mean, listen, when I'm ready, because I'm definitely going to build one eventually. Not now, but eventually. I know at least I have two people that could be like, yeah, this is what you buy, this is what you don't buy.
Oh yeah, we'll be excited to help you, man.
I'll tell you which brands to go with. Just leave MSI alone. Don't touch anything MSI does.
Oh boy, don't start that. Come on now.
Asus ROG Strix is I love their work. I love EVGA. You know, we can get all.
I'm rocking the EVGA 3080 FTW Ultra in my PC right now. So
sir,
so basically, whenever I turn on gaming, I might as well turn off the heat in this house, because that thing gets hot. Oh boy. Anyway. So yes, but you know what? I'm happy we're having this PC talk. You know, today is going to be the day of PC talk, among other things. You know, don't get it twisted. We're gonna get it all out there. But you know, I appreciate you heading in that direction now, so we can keep heading in that direction. We keep heading in that direction. What are the games yourself, SloMo, that you've been playing? I know that you I thought I saw you streaming Splitgate. Is that what that game was? I saw you streaming that a couple days ago. What games these days have been
a few
keeping
weeks
you busy?
Ago. Splitgate is a game that, like, I'm so happy that I feel, although I can't take full responsibility for it, but I feel somewhat responsible for its popularity. I know that sounds very like braggadocious, but I started playing Splitgate back in June. And shout out to the homie Melodic Punk. I saw him tweet out a clip of him playing the game, and I'm seeing this game, and I'm looking like it's giving me Halo vibes, and then I see Portals, and I'm like, Halo and Portals? Why didn't I think about this? Like, that sounds like a great like marriage of two different kinds of games. So I look and I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, it's a free game on Steam, and I'm like, excuse me, it's free? Okay, downloaded immediately, started playing it, and I'm just like, I mean, ever since I started playing it, I was just like, this game is heat. People have to know this. I make a video about it. Hey, play Splitgate, play Splitgate.
Yeah, I've been seeing you. You become the Splitgate ambassador. I've seen
right,
you.
and then right, coincidentally, right around this time, they had actually revamped the game and started trying to get they actually. We're putting it on consoles, PlayStation and Xbox. Crossplay was going to be enabled. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I downloaded their test beta on my Xbox Series S. Enjoyed it. Rock solid 60 frames per second the entire time. You know, it plays great on a controller as just as well as it does on mouse and keyboard. I wouldn't know because I suck at mouse and keyboard. I don't touch it.
That's a good statement. Thank you. So you're a PC guy, but you're not a real mouse and keyboard guy. So you're a PC guy with a controller?
All controller, and I'll be bodying them fools on control. Of course, a wired Xbox 360 controller.
A wired 360 controller.
Crazy.
Look, wired. First of all, 360 controller, best controller ever made, right? Then,
indeed.
Then the only problem people have with the 360 controller is that fat like awkward
in the middle
battery pack in the back, right? But the wired controller doesn't have that.
Doesn't have
so
it.
It's just fully comfortable. It's like,
have you tried the newer Xbox controllers? Have there been any differences to them? What do you think?
I don't like the Xbox One controller.
Okay.
But I do like the Xbox Series controller. Like, it kind of alleviated any of the issues I had with that one. But the 360 controller is still superior. It's just I
agree.
Yeah. So that's what I use for when I'm serious. Well, you know, every now and then, like I'll use I have the Shock Blue Xbox Series controller. I'll use that primarily when I'm playing stuff like Death's Door. Stuff like that. But when I'm playing shooters,
you blowing my mind right now, man. SloMo. I did not know you played only on controller with PC. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Most PC people are like these controller heathens. You were good with the controller. That's crazy. Interesting. Okay.
Here's the hilarious thing, right? And shout out to the PC guys who do this. Everyone complains when they get bodied about what the other person is doing. Yeah, of course, you see the people like PC cheaters, but you see the guys on PC get mad when they lose to someone with a controller.
With a controller, yes.
Aim assist. It's aim assist. They're helping him. No, you just suck, bro. You just got
Erodimus just outed you, man. You are actually a high-end console guy, which is weird. Yes. Absolutely true. I will say that. Yes.
Console guy.
Yes, because you know what? The console and I know I've said this on the show before, and Everborn gave me some smack for it, and I'm sure folks won't appreciate this take. But to me, consoles in by themselves are like Toyotas. They're not the high end, right? You want the high end, you get the PC. So so if you are playing console but with a controller, you're basically
Series X is a nice Camry. It's a nice
Yes,
it's a nice car.
It is.
It's a fine car. You know, you're a family.
See, the Xbox Series X is like a Camry with heated seats. They give you a bit of the luxury, but it's still and I say that as I can call myself an Xbox guy. That's where I play most of my games.
Buddy. Top of the line.
But it's got a few of the luxury features, not all of them, right? That actually brings me to a very interesting a place I kind of want to go with you on this, SloMo. I think that PC, the consoles should not define the word next gen, because they don't get to make that definition. That comes from you get what PCs give you. It's the truth, right?
Although that's true.
With the exception of this gen, which has new things that PC don't. It's the first time that's ever happened, right?
Yeah.
But usually PCs, consoles get the hand-me-downs after it's been cool.
Let's be fair here. Okay, you can say that about the Xbox. You can't say that about the PlayStation 5 because it's missing a lot of what Xbox does. It has great stuff.
You're right about that, Boom.
Listen, I'm not a tech guy.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right about that.
I have to interrupt for a moment.
Go ahead.
I'm seeing Everborn Saga at the bottom of the leaderboard against these bots, and I'm just confused. I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Let's go back to the discussion. It just kind of shocked me to see him there.
Stop it.
Who knew that the ODST bots were so difficult?
Stop it. He's not here to defend himself.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Throwing the slander. I kind of
he's out slandering the slanderer right now. He's not here to defend himself.
But no, I would say generations is still a console thing with PC.
True.
Because like there are people who have a 1070 or a 1080 Ti. And that's a
I had a 1080 Ti for like 5 years. Yeah, I used to have a 1080 Ti for a long time.
And you don't even have ray tracing with that.
Nope.
You don't have DLSS. Nope. You don't have a lot of the features
DRSS.
that are going. You don't have any of these features that are going to be present in the next gen consoles, as well as the newer versions of GPUs for PC. So it's PC is a very, very open platform, and part of the reason why you would see people still rocking those kind of cards and not really looking to upgrade until maybe recently is due to the fact that the biggest draw to PC is the choice to choose how you play your games. If you value frame rates over everything, then you could still, with that kind of card, play a lot of the current games at well over 100 frames per second, and just drop the resolution down to 1080p. I was saying this to Forte on DPS last Thursday, and shout out to 3-Bit who joined us as a guest. But I was saying it to them
I saw that episode.
I appreciate you watching, man. We were talking about the options that are available for Hellblade, the optimized version of Hellblade, and something that it really hit me as I'm looking at this chart that's going through the 3 different versions that you have: the enriched, the quality, and then the performance mode. And I'm saying to myself, like, I'm just glad to see that console gamers are getting this close to the same kind of choice that PC gamers get. Because now,
I
like,
completely agree.
If you and there's some people out here, the cinematic gamer, you know, that like, hey, I don't care about the
filmic gamer. Shout out to Jess Gordon.
That's it, filmic.
Shout out to Jess Gordon.
The shrimp.
I want the 4K. I want the ray tracing.
Yeah.
I want all of that. I'll take 30 frames per second as long as I'm looking like I'm looking at a painting.
Yeah,
you know, the entire time. And if you're that kind of gamer, hey, there's a mode for you. If you're a gamer, just like, give me the best frame rate you can possibly get, because I love how smooth it is, and I love how amazing the game looks and performs. You got a mode for that too. It's going to drop down to 1080p. But you see, these are the choices that PC gamers would make when they would say, you know what, I don't really need to do ultra settings. I don't need to have the water on ultra, making it look photorealistic and Red Dead when it drops my frame rate to 35 frames per second. Let me put that on medium, and I can kind of, you know, stabilize some of this stuff.
Yeah,
like these are kind of choices that a PC gamer would make, and you guys
they put the decision in your hand.
Get there. Right.
But these are all decisions that consoles also make, but most console players don't know that because they don't put the decision in your hands. They just take it away from you. And it looks like Xbox this time around is doing a bit more of that. They're giving you a bit more of the choice. Not exactly like PC players, but it's kind of like, if you care more about frame rate than anything else, Series S. Right? It's still there. And even within the console themselves, they're starting to, you know, hey, you can play at 120 versus, you know, I do see and I was talking to Everborn about this yesterday. It looks like Microsoft has realized that pushing 4K beyond everything else was a bad move, because it's diminishing returns. You can't go any further, right?
Yeah.
After 4K, what else are you looking at?
It's also the most expensive visual feature that you have.
That's
Resolution is really rough on the hardware.
It's a very expensive
when
thing.
You're going native. Like seeing it dynamic. Dynamic is probably where it's going to be.
That's right. Yeah. And that's a very good point. Very good point with the dynamic, because now while they were pushing 4K last gen, right, and we saw everything at barely 30 frames per second, right, and now it looks like you have NVIDIA knocking out the box with the DLSS implementation, right? You have AMD right behind them with FSR, and they're all coming to consoles. The idea of brute forcing native 4K is just ridiculous at this point, right? So even before DLSS and FSR were the buzzwords of the day, you have Ori and the Blind Forest, like basically stripping resolutions depending on which version of the parallax you're looking at. The front is 4K, the back is less than, but you'll never notice. They were doing that stuff before the tools would let them do it automatically. So the idea that native and you have to have all that hardware, it's a thing of the past these days. You know, I do appreciate that. And I won't be unfair and say that only Xbox is doing it, because Xbox is the only one really talking about it. I'm sure I see PC stuff happening more on the PlayStation side as well. But it looks to me at least more that the PlayStation folks aren't necessarily happy about that, whereas Xbox folks is like, whatever, as long as I get to play my game, I don't care what you guys do. You know,
I don't understand the big deal.
Neither do I.
A game you played 2 years ago shows up on PC.
Yeah.
Woe is me. Like how did that affect you? You already played through the game, you platinumed it, right?
Yeah. Have you tried the new version of have you tried the re-release upgrade to Hellblade?
I have.
I thought you because we were talking about PlayStation. I thought you were talking about Horizon Zero Dawn.
We'll go there too, but first I wanted to ask Hellblade. Both of you,
here's the deal.
First,
for me, I haven't tried it. I'm not gonna go back to it. I like Hellblade. I don't like it enough to play it again, based off of like it gets into some themes that are a little not shaky, but like it's really heavy. And so some games like that, like I don't really want to play The Last of Us Part 2 again.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I can, I enjoyed my experience, but I
respect the hell out of it. But once you're done, it's like I'm not going back through that again. It hits the heart too rough.
I try to because I like. Well, listen, I love achievements. I like trophies. So I went back in and I started running through it again, and I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna take the 30 something that I unlocked and just call it a square, because I only went back into Hellblade for two reasons. One, to record some audio for the show, and to get, because I took the 30 frames. Okay. That's a game that doesn't require 60 frames because the fighting is only so often. Right.
Yeah, it's very floaty. It's not as action packed.
So I went with the 30 because I'm a graphics whore, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Again, I cannot wait to find out more about the second part. But yeah, I mean, listen, again, we had this whole conversation on Primetime Gaming. Why the hubbub of them doing all this work for the price of free? And I don't get it.
It's interesting you say that, because I like, since that conversation, and I was on that show, since that conversation, there's been many other conversations, like shout out to Luca and Optimus Code. They were having various spaces chats about similar topics, right? And it seems, and again, this tends to be more slanderous talk, more spicy. I'm trying to be genuine with it. It seems to me that the reason why folks are having such a problem is they're comparing it to Iki Island and saying, well, it's free, but that's free because they don't give you anything. And this gives you so much more, and that's why it's justified. Like, those who are really, really gung-ho about this thing are kind of comparing it to the Iki Island DLC. Dumb. I think so, but they're comparing it to the DLC and saying, see, that's why you should buy your updates, because they give you more. The stuff like that. That's what I've heard.
And here's the thing: why that argument? Anyone that's going to stake their poll in that, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're walking on thin ice, because we're talking about a game that's 4 years old that they didn't have to do this for, and they did it while working on Hellblade 2. Project
I don't even think it's the original team that did it, right?
No, it's not.
The team
that
brought it to Switch or something that redid it.
It's one of the teams that worked on one of the ports. But here's the thing: Iki Island is new, and what I don't understand with people, and I guess this could be another whole conversation, is when Sony does something effed up, you as a player need to say something about it. Otherwise, they're going to think that it's okay to be a D-bag. And that's exactly what they're doing with the a-hole tax, which of course comes from our good friend, the slanderer himself. And he's right. Why am I paying $10 more? Because I want the upgrade, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think that if I spend the $30, I'm giving into the quote-unquote man. And I don't know if I want to do that. I platinumed it. That was my game of the year, Ghost of Tsushima. I loved it, but it's that $10 tax that everyone's like, oh, but it's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is a big deal, because they're giving you the ability to use haptic triggers and everything that you've already paid for with the console. You shouldn't have to pay for that upgrade. That should be a free upgrade. If you want to charge me $30 for the DLC and say that it's a $30 DLC, like for instance when Lost Legacy came out, it was $40.
Yep.
I didn't bat an eye, because I love Uncharted, and I bought it, and it was the end of the story. But no, they have to. There's Sony being Sony, and everyone always forgives them for it. They put out this huge chart Well, if you buy it on the PS4 and then you want to upgrade to the PS5, it's 20 here, then it's another 10. If you want the whole package, it's 70. If you want the upgrade package, it's 30, but 20 is for the DLC and 10 is for this. You get lip syncing. It's a load of BS. I'm sorry.
Well, I do agree that the whole chart thing was a bit much. Like, look, man, like y'all don't know any better way to explain this to people, because even after that, people were just like, wait, hold up. What if I do X, Y, Z? What does that mean, right? But I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it, that value is subjective, and people and people are going to, if they really want that Icky Island on their PS5, they're going to spend that money.
Yeah.
Well, even if they feel like it's unfair.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
The desire to play that content will supersede what they think is unfair. I look at, you're right, but I think
what's funny is once they realize that there's nothing wrong with. They realize that there's nothing wrong with that. Then they have to justify their purchase by making the other purchase seem bad. That's the part where I'm like,
I don't really think that's necessary. But we are seeing this all throughout the industry. We're seeing Asobo Studios do a free update for A Plague's Tale: Innocence. We're seeing 505 Games and Remedy charging $30 for Control Ultimate Edition. Yep. Not a single thing was changed. Even if you bought Control with the expansion and got all the DLC, you got nothing in the upgrade. You would have to buy the Ultimate Edition to get essentially what was already on the PC, which was the same graphical settings that the PC had, or to some degree. Some of it was like put at mid or high settings and that ultra, but ray tracing. That kind of stuff, like that's a $30 additional charge essentially for a game you already purchased for content that you already had, just for a bump in resolution and or a choice for a bump in frame rate. These companies are making these decisions based upon what they believe what they can get away with, and if the value isn't there for the overall gaming community, they're going to feel it in their pocket. They're going to feel it in the fact that, like, you had developers actually putting in work to get this stuff done, only for you to price it out of actual gamers' hands. So if it turns out that Ghost of Tsushima, the $10 bump that Sony is doing when it comes to the PS5 version is not going to be conducive for gamers, they're going to feel it in the wallet. They're going to.
That's the same thing I say. It's funny you say that, because again, that goes into the whole conversation, and I hate flipping through conversations, but SloMo, you're really making a great point. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what I said about how if you are pissed off like I am, ex-law enforcement, looking at my wife, if it was happening to her, I'd have someone's head on a platter. Talking about what Activision Blizzard. People are like, well, you can't boycott a game. It doesn't work. Oh, really? Because they're not getting my $100. So what if a million people,
indeed,
what if a million people say, you know what? I'm not doing it because everyone's like, oh, Diablo 2, it looks so great, whatever. I hear you. And you know what? That's a Mrs. Boom and Boom type of game that we played together for an entire weekend, and we don't get off the couch. But how am I supposed to sit there with her and be like, you know what? This place had a Bill Cosby room. I'm giving him my $60, and that's okay. Straight up.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, listen, I don't get on holy pedestals for a lot of stuff. I let a lot of stuff go. But listen. The one thing I don't like is injustice. It's something that I fought against as a police officer. I do it here in the socials. I am not going to stand for it, so they're not getting my money. So, to your point, yes, they will feel it if people step up and say, you know what? No, you're not getting my money. And no, they're not getting booms.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I think that is important to note with the Activision situation, and I agree with you completely. Well, I don't even spend money on Activision games anyway, so this is like no skin out of my pocket. Screw them anyway, right? But
the last Activision game I think I bought was like Tony Hawk. That was the last thing I bought.
Me too. That was the last one I bought.
I've had a couple of Call of Duty games gifted to me, but I didn't spend the money on it. And it was mostly just friends really wanting me to play Call of Duty with them that year and buying it for me. So whatever, right? But I think when people say that they don't think anything's going to happen in regards to the big cash cow for Activision, which is Call of Duty, is that the vast majority of the Call of Duty fan base or super casuals that don't pay attention to any of this kind of stuff. They don't even know there are such thing as gaming podcasts. They don't know who Blizzard is. They don't know what any of this stuff is. None of this stuff.
They just know that game is fun. I play it every year.
Right.
Buy it
it's like, so they're going to buy Call of Duty with zero knowledge of what is happening to happening to the developers there, and it's unfortunate. But I do think that Bobby Kodak's day is coming. He can keep throwing other people under the bus all he wants, but none of this is going to change, and people aren't going to stop coming at his head until he's no longer in charge.
Yeah. Well, real quick,
to your point, Beast, there you go. That's right.
No, please go ahead. You're the host.
Please. That it's all good. Beast Mode decided to agree with you here, sir. You're saying, the year he got that $150 million raise is the year he laid off 300 employees. So his time will be coming. I will say to a little bit to your point on the boycotting of games thing. It's true that, because there's so many people and there's the vocal minority that stays engaged in this stuff. So we have a bunch of those people who don't know and don't care and just want to play. But if enough of us, the gaming minority that tend to be vocal, who play these stuff all the time, have a problem and speak on it, it's not about the overarching wallet, even if the small percentage drops, even because that's what this is. These are publicly traded companies, right? Kotick won't go, oh, well, they don't like me, but who cares? I'm still getting paid. No, they have to keep the numbers up at all times, even if it's a 1% drop. So even if that 1% is us, that is enough for people to look at him and go, what's going on with that 1%? Why are they upset? So it is actually pretty valid to be like, I'm voting with my wallet. It is valid to me. I always appreciate the idea of selfish single player gamers. I tend to be that most of the time, unless a really hot multiplayer is out. I tend to be that selfish single player gamer, but not when it comes to justice. I'm with you, Boom. I stand on the side of righteousness at all times, even if it has nothing to do with me. I refuse. And like you said, I will not be playing Diablo 2. I have no reason to play it. Even the games that they like that I think I would like of theirs, there's just so many games, so many options right now that not playing their game won't be any skin off my nose. And at the end of the day, we need to hold someone relatively accountable, So I completely agree with you, Boom, that this is not where we should just be like, oh, well, it is what it is. We're just going to kind of keep it moving, and we can't help it. So whatever,
Yeah, no, I agree. I see. For me personally, with situations like this, see, I'm not a trend chaser. Like, I don't go and support BLM or gay rights because it's the cool thing to do. I do that as a human being who says, you know what? It matters to me because I come from a multiracial family. My brother's African American. My wife is Puerto Rican. I'm a shake and bake bag. You know what I'm saying when it comes to where my family comes from. So, it matters to me. So, you know what? Maybe I'm just one knucklehead with a small channel. But you know what? At least I went out there and I said from jump, Double Barrel Gaming no longer will support or cover either of these studios. And you know what? If you hate me for it, oh well, it's one sub I'll get from someone else.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. And I'll even say this, just like whenever anybody starts talking about gaming, before they say I preface this by saying I have all consoles. I, as a black man, don't care if you don't know a single black friend. If you're a Caucasian individual and all you care about, all you've ever known are those who look and feel like you and are like you, I still respect the fact that you can see some injustice, have some empathy, and be like, yo, this ain't cool. Because even if the scenario is that these people aren't your people, they are people like every other people.
They're still human beings at the end of the day.
They're still human beings, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I feel bad for those when I see this happening on the other side or to other sources that I may not be a part of. it still burns me just the same way. You know, when it comes to that, you will not find a single a selfish gamer in me. I stand with the people, you know, and I appreciate that you do too, Boom. You know, I think that is very commendable.
I grew up in the Pro Jays, folks. You know what I'm saying? People think that, you know, you just see the white skin and, oh, that guy comes from money. No, my parents, they weren't poor, but they were just under, you know, medium, and we had everything because my pops worked really hard, man. You know what I'm saying, to make sure that we had the stuff. So I understand where this comes from. That's why I am who I am, and like I said, that's the thing that's great. This is how I was in uniform, folks. What you see is what you got. This is the real me. So, but yeah, you know what? Listen, all I can tell you is that support who you want to support. I'm not going to hate you for it. We had this whole conversation in chat. People were like, no, I'm getting it. I'm in there. Good. You know what? Good on you.
Yeah.
If you can sit there with a whole heart and play a game, knowing that they just fired the 3 top guys for said game for sexual misconduct. But again, that's your choice, and I'm not going to hate you for it.
You know, and it's funny you bring that point up, you know, and that's where Everborn keeps saying that the people have to speak, and that's a good thing. And I agree, it's a good thing. My question is, this is the lead of the project, right?
Yes.
How long has the project been going on? He's been the lead of the project for a long time. This misconduct allegations aren't new. You see what I'm saying? They aren't new. He didn't do this to somebody last week. Right? They're firing him now.
Yes.
Exactly. So it makes me go, this is not the solution. This is not, oh, the people have spoken. Yeah, a bunch of people have already been like, you know, irrevocably damaged for the rest of their lives based on these points. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's good that you're doing it now, but that just points out your weakness, management team. That just points out the fact that you guys were unwilling to take any kind of leadership role when it mattered. Now you got the eyes on you, so you're doing something, you know, and, you know, people are fickle. We all are. We got things to do, right? 5 minutes from now, we'll move on to something else. And does that mean that then the other predators just get to chill before the eyes come on you again for the next 20, 50 years or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I think it's completely inappropriate. And to that point, we have my man, Mr. Everborn Saga, in the chat. What's going on, brother? How you doing? I hope your family time is good. We're just catching up.
The best time. What's up
that's
there,
right,
Everborn?
that's right.
Mr. Slanderer himself. Everborn Slanderer.
Oh man, this is gonna take on a name of its own. He's gonna have to change from Everborn to the Slanderer.
Then you're gonna have to get on him about changing his name everywhere.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm gonna get him on him about changing his name everywhere, like he did me. Indeed. But let's move on real quick. So SloMo just stepped away for just a quick minute, but I still want to have a bit of a conversation with you, Boom, about the news of the day. You know, we've been back and forth. There's been a lot of chatter and blah blah blah. And SloMo's back as well. So we'll get his opinion as well.
Kid emergency.
Oh yeah, we know how that goes, man. Don't worry about it. It's cool. My children are like yelling behind here, but and NVIDIA broadcast is keeping them quiet from you guys.
Nice.
So I kind of wanted to touch on, and we're still in the PC frame, PC talk and all of that, but I kind of wanted to have a bit of conversation about the recent occurrences and the things that are making the rounds that the people are talking about in the gaming space. The most recent one, and I don't know if you guys have seen or heard about this. I'm preempting this one because I suspect this may or may not become a thing on when people start paying attention. But it seems that Push Square is worried that they may not get that rumored. They may not get the rumored August show from PlayStation, and it's been a year since PlayStation announced anything or showed off any official exclusive PS5 games. So it seems that even their staunch backers are now a little shaky in their resolve. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Mr. Boomstick. What's your thoughts on them being a little? You know, they're speaking facts there. You know, it's been a while, but again, I will also say that, you know, same as a few months ago, people were talking about, all they showed was a logo for the PS5. What the hell's going on? And then the thing came out, and nobody had any problems, right? All of a sudden, it was let's go, let's buy immediately. So this might be much ado about nothing. I think it's interesting that their hugest backers kind of showing their worried face right now. What do you think?
I mean, look. Let's call a spade here, folks. We're all console owners, right? You guys have a PC, Master Race PC, so you have technically 4 consoles, right? You got a Switch, you got a PS5, you got an Xbox, either one or the S or the X or both. Yeah. But if you are, let's say, for instance, you are just a gamer who just enjoys gaming, right? The casual folks. Xbox right now, as of today, Saturday the 14th. If you ever remember that show, that movie from way back in the 80s, if you don't remember it, it's because I'm old and it was hilarious. And now it would be very cheesy, but Saturday the 14th. Xbox is hitting on all cylinders. It is really pushing up all green. Like Game Pass has dropped 25 new titles in the last 45 days, and Game of the Year Hades, right, which we're going to get into, right? That's everyone is cheering. Now, if you want it on the PlayStation, it's 30 beans, but if you get it on Xbox, it's the price of free. And I say free, but it's the cost of your membership, plus you get everything else that's there. We keep hearing, like, first of all, Sarah Bond, who we had a whole big segment on her. I'm so proud of myself. Listen, I don't get to toot my own horn, but I really went into her background on Thursdays. Xbox Factor podcast. If you missed it, check it out. I did a whole expose on Sarah Bond, where she is, how long she's been there. Her education is ridiculous, and why I think she's such a force to be reckoned with within Xbox, right?
I agree.
And I've said it before, and I've gotten some boos for it because I guess people don't like the
which is strange.
It's just ridiculous. She is going to be, I think, the successor for Phil Spencer. That's just my opinion. I think the boos I got were like, "Oh, you're just trying to check off boxes." Listen.
You're catering to women kind of deal.
Women of color.
It's interesting. It's interesting when you bring up someone's credentials. Don't mention what their race or gender is or sex is, but the other side brings that up. They kind of let you know what their actual issue is, and not necessarily what 100%. You're saying.
See that? You know what you do with those guys? You block them, you mute them, you unfollow them, you ban them. That's what you do. You just get rid of that because it's unnecessary shenanigans. But now for Xbox, there is so much excitement. There is so much to look forward to. We know outside of Halo and Forza, which are confirmed for this year, there are still 23 games of every size, genre, and length you could possibly imagine and enjoy. You still have Scorn. You still have Tunic. You still have 12 Minutes is next week, and it's just one show after another, and everyone is talking Xbox. The reason why the media is now getting behind what the H is going on at Sony is because they usually held for years. The last generation, they held the conversation almost all the time, and no one is talking about Sony because there's nothing to talk about except negative stuff. Like everyone should, like for instance, the Icky Island should have been the conversation. Right, it should have been like, my God, I get to go back into the world.
And I'm totally excited for that, by the way. I can't wait to play. Yeah,
I get to go back into the world of my Game of the Year 2020, and I love the IP, and I love what Sucker Punch does. But that's not the conversation. It's I don't understand this upgrade. I'm confused, and then it's all the negative press around it. And listen, people are starting to wear themselves thin. Now we had heard, and I think when I say we as a group of men here, that Sony's late August event, they were waiting on Call of Duty because they were going to have it there in a big way, and look what happened. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, if I'm Sony PR, you're just not going to be a part. I know that there's contracts. I understand that there's a big deal if you cancel, but if you get in bed with these guys right now and they just open up a second lawsuit and more people are starting to come forward, man, that's some nasty water you're walking through.
It's interesting you say that. I didn't really think because yeah, I did hear that idea that since obviously they have the contract with the marketing deal with Call of Duty, they would have to wait for Call of Duty, which itself was a shit show. We hear, we're not sure how it will look. There's already some leaked photos from where they're heading and all of that. But now you add the Activision Blizzard situation into the mix. And you're like, even if the game looks brilliant, do you really want to represent that on your stage? That's crazy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The answer for me is definitely no.
Hell no. Yeah.
I don't want no. I don't want no part of that.
Because PlayStation is very they are very, very brand conscious, right? That's why they win. Code said something on the Spaces yesterday that I agree with. To the normals, PlayStation is the name of gaming. It's Pampers. It's you don't say I'm buying a console, I'm buying a PlayStation, even if the kid's playing an Xbox.
But now it's PlayStation.
It used to be Nintendo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're very, very, very brand conscious. So how's that going to work this year? Because Call of Duty is coming, right? Whether you like it or not, it's coming.
Let me say this: we can point to Sony's fallout with Quantic Dream. Remember a few years back, after Detroit Become Human came out, that that lawsuit
David
from
Cage,
France, David Cage, and that whole studio's penchant for racist comments and sexist stuff going on, sexual harassment, all that stuff was happening. When that happened, Sony distanced themselves instantly.
Yeah,
isn't that weird too? Because Detroit, isn't that weird? Because Detroit Become Human actually spoke some good things about race relations and all of that. It was kind of interesting
on that.
It kind of shows how people kind of pander to certain things when they want to sell a game. But
that's right.
Now Detroit Become Human was the highest selling game that Quantic Dream had ever had. Games like Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain were
never hit
highly
as hard as that.
Yeah, they were lauded by hardcore gamers as quality games, but they didn't sell well. So Detroit Become Human sells amazingly. It looks beautiful, of course. Yes. People jumped on it, but it still only really sold like $3-4 million. I'm sorry, 3-4 million copies.
Yeah.
That's an easy. We're gonna distance ourselves from you when your value to us in sales does not supersede the negative press that you are providing us at this moment. Call of Duty is a bit of a different deal, though. So that's because these corporations forget whatever they tell you. Forget their public statements. Forget their backing of certain social justice platforms and stuff when they tweet things out. When it all comes down to it, it's about money.
It really is.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So even though they hate what's happening at Activision right now, mostly because of the fact that we got a marketing deal with you guys and we can't back out of it because we already signed the contract. And but not that we really wanted to, because what we really love about our contract with you is that we get to make commercials with Call of Duty, and at the end of it says PlayStation. It don't say Xbox, it says PlayStation. And so there are a lot of gamers out there who get this implication that Call of Duty's only coming out on PlayStation, and not realize it's also on Xbox as well. So what do? They get themselves a PlayStation, they get themselves Call of Duty for that year. So that's what the real value of it comes. And because Call of Duty is always the top selling game every single year, look, it's distasteful, it sucks. And they're gonna be holding their nose when the Call of Duty trailer runs at whatever event they do. But run that trailer they will, because they want that money. They want that money, and it's unfortunately it's like the way it always turns out. Like if your value doesn't supersede the kind of money that you bring in, your Quantic Dream. And then you're looking for a new publisher. Yep,
indeed. As Cat Daddy Lurk says very aptly, money trumps controversy every time. Indeed,
every time.
Every time. So okay, so personally, when it comes to this, I don't think it's a big deal. everybody's saying it. Push Square is like, woohoo! You know, they need the clicks, so they're starting the debate, right? Which is for them to do. Give it a week, give it 2 weeks. There'll be a surprise announcement. Oh, PlayStation's having this. All that will go away. It'll be fanboy city. You know, this is just to have something to say. I suspect this is because just like they and I keep going back to that. Just like they released a logo and people clowned them for it, right? Months later, they show you what the logo is for, and all the clowning that you did of their logo goes away because all you care about is what they're giving you, right? This will be the same way. I don't think the year will end without PlayStation having at least some kind of announcement of some games. Probably, I suspect since the penny is really like affecting everybody as it has them as well. They're probably out there right now trying to really like throw the bag at somebody to get some timed exclusives, because as Push Square has aptly pointed out, it doesn't look like there's much huge AAA stuff coming from them this year, right? So they may want to backfill that with something coming third party, you know, as Xbox has already done, right? In addition to some of their first parties that they're doing as well. So, you know, I think this issue is a non-issue, but it is funny, and I don't know if he's still in here. It is funny that Everborn brought this up because, you know, if this was an Xbox thing, there would be many spaces having conversations about what's going on, and it looks like people are just like, whatever.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
You know, and that's definitely what this is about, I suspect. But we can move on, and I guess this is somewhat related to, and we've all had conversations about it in other forums, but I'd be remiss if I don't give you guys the opportunity to speak on it here. The whole Phil Spencer comments thing, right? I've heard what you've said about it, SloMo. I've heard your concerns about it. We were going back and forth a bit about that on Twitter. I haven't really heard your take on it, Boom. What do you think? Like, when this whole thing happened, right? Me personally, from what I've heard, and I've said this on a few other places as well, every time someone gets the opportunity to interview Phil Spencer or Jim Ryan or Herman Holtz for that matter, it now becomes why aren't you doing what the other person's doing, right? And specifically for Xbox, they've been hearing that more than anyone else. Until Game Pass, PlayStation was enjoying what they were enjoying. Now they're hearing that too because of Game Pass. But before Game Pass, it was always, oh, Ori was great. It's all, when is it coming to Switch? Oh, Ori's on Switch now. When's it coming to PlayStation? Oh, you ever gonna have Halo on Xbox on Switch? Oh, is Game Pass gonna come to PlayStation? Or you know what I'm saying? Like this is all and every time he hears this, you can see it in the interviews with IGN. You can see it multiple. I enjoy watching interviews specifically of CEOs because they are so well trained that you yourself have to be very well cued into the spotting, you know, because they're trying to be, everything is very marketing related, but you can tell when they're happy or they're unhappy based on certain things. And I can tell that every time this comes up, Phil's just like, man, not this crap again. Like I could just tell, you know, especially his response to Ori. It was like, you know, the developers wanted to do that. We wanted to help them. They enjoyed that. It was cool. That's one thing we did. AKA, stop asking us about this all the time. We may or we may not. It depends. It's on a case-by-case basis. But we're here to promote our platform. Stop trying to make us like other people's platforms. Right. That's what he was trying to say. But for some reason, you know, there are PlayStation folks, there are Xbox folks, there are people with agendas and people who are genuinely concerned that he's basically saying that all of his 23 studios are going to be focused on quote unquote Sea of Thieves style games, you know, games that are about the community and all that.
Refresh my memory. What was his exact quote? Do you have it in front of you?
I will search for his quote because it wasn't necessarily just a quote. It was just it was basically a few paragraphs that came together to mean.
I kind of tweeted out the.
Let's find it. Yeah.
The actual quote.
Yeah.
Let me go.
Because I saw something on Twitter that he says that we are not trying to turn Xbox into a PlayStation.
That's right. He's not trying to do anything for that. That's the green version of the blue thing or the green version of the red thing. That's basically what he said. So right.
I want to hit two different things. So there's like Please. there was So the WCCF Tech article is referencing a Games Radar article. And in the Games Radar, it probably is best to just go directly to the Games Radar article because it actually has what he was asked in it, in addition to what his response was. And so in that article, he says, give me a second because I gotta find
Games Radar right now.
Okay, here we go. So it says it's interesting that throughout our conversation, Spencer doesn't talk about competition with other consoles. Although he got a sly dig in about Sony's PlayStation strategy during E3, his focus is clearly on converting non-gamers into gamers rather than shifting the current user base from one machine to another. When I asked, for example, about a lack of epic self-contained single-player games on Xbox, he knows straight away what I'm referencing. Sony's recent success with titles such as Spider-Man and The Last of Us 2.
What you just said there, he knew right away what I was referencing. That's where my frustration, my clink of he's frustrated comes from. Continue.
Okay, and he's not having any of it. Quote, our strategy is not to just go be like someone else, he says. I get a push sometimes of, where's your version of this or that game? I've been in this industry for a long time. I have a ton of respect for creators on all platforms, and I know many of them. But it's good if we're doing something different than what other platforms are doing. We're not in the business of just trying to create a green version of somebody else's blue or red colored platform. That's not the example of creativity that I want to see in the games industry. So that's pretty much the end of that.
That's what he said.
This is the crux of what everyone has been arguing about over the past day.
Yeah, but you know
that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, listen, guys, I'm hearing it for the first time. Like I missed this somehow, maybe because I was getting ready to get on vacation, and it was out there because I would have had a conversation on it. First of all, do me a favor, drop that in the DM for me. So, because I'm going to probably talk about this on Thursday, on Tuesday's show. I'll say this. I see nothing wrong with what he said. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I freaking applaud it because here's the thing. If you're an Xbox guy or gal, right, you know you got Fable, single player game. You know that you have Perfect Dark, single player game. You know that you have Senua's Saga. Third person over the shoulder, story driven game. You have a lot of these titles that have already been announced. Avowed, story driven first person game. I mean, we could just keep going and going and going.
But wait, this is where Asante probably knows where I'm going with this. This is where I've been saying all day yesterday. And yes, boom, those are single player games. Those are narrative driven games. Some of them are really straight up RPGs, like Avowed. Avowed's going to be a really hardcore RPG, Western RPG. Those are not multiplayer experiences. Like, so the people out here who have taken this and then because the WCCF Tech article, its title really is kind of questionable because it's like its title said, Phil Spencer says they're not trying to make single player blockbuster games. That's what its title said.
Yes,
exactly. Inaccurate.
That's false.
Triggering.
That's absolutely
that's
completely
false
article.
Because Avowed is going to be a AAA game. Because Elder Scrolls is going to be a AAA game.
Fable is going to be a AAA game.
Yeah, these are like based off of prior experiences with Fable and those games. They're going to be AAA games.
We're talking about a manufacturer who now holds the title of building the most expensive game ever.
Right.
It was before someone else, and now it is $500 million to Halo Infinite. So how could you speak on that and then go, oh yeah, they're not making any more AAA games?
Yeah. So the title was false, but that's it. I think what's being lost in the discussion with the fanboys kind of jumping on it and trying to go, aha, is that there's some
well.
Right. There's some people like myself who enjoy the way Sony does a game. So like this is. I spoke, I can't remember who it was. There was someone who replied to me and was like, well, I kind of feel like Hellblade is similar to God of War. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, nah, fam, it's not. And even though Hellblade is a single player game, third person perspective, very narrative driven, a very good game. Like no shade towards Hellblade or Ninja Theory at all. The way that game is designed is not designed the same way that Sony first party games are designed, or in particular God of War. Hellblade has a lot of puzzles. Most of them I don't really care for. The combat is okay, but it's not very deep. God of War is very different. God of War, when you have those narrative scenes, you know where it is when you play a Sony game and they go into a cutscene. You know, but matter of fact, God of War has God of War doesn't have any cuts. It's one shot. From the moment that you start cutting down that tree, when you hit press start to start the game till it ends, it's all one shot. That fight with, I can't remember the name of the god, but the god you fight outside of Kratos' house, amazing. Seamlessly going from cinematic to back to you fighting, back to cinematic, back and forth. There's nothing like that in Hellblade. When I see Phil's quote, and he's not talking about not doing single player games, not doing third person perspective narrative driven games. He's already, they're doing that. They've already announced games like that. What he's talking about is not doing it the way that Sony does it, and also, because he didn't just mean Sony, not doing the kind of games that Nintendo does, just the way Nintendo does it. And I gotta shout out to the homie Lord Cognito. I agree with him when he says, "Can I just get one though?
Give me one." Yes,
just give me one. I
real
don't
quick,
like, you got 23 studios, right? You work. You have multiple contracts with independent third-party developers that you're doing through Xbox Publishing, right? Can I get one though? Just one.
Let me like what you're describing. I really appreciate that you're making this description. Let me put a bit of context to this here, okay? God of War was roughly a $50 million budget, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, $50 million budget, right? And I can look up the amount of people, but let's just say it was a AAA style game with a AAA budget, right? $50 million. Right. In comparison to Hellblade, which was made for a micro budget of under 10 million. With a team of around 20 people.
24. Two people. Yes, absolutely.
Whoever is comparing these two, whoever's saying, oh, well, Hellblade is like, I mean, Senua's Sacrifice might be, and that's a big question mark, because they're taking an indie developer with AAA capabilities and giving them more resources. But even then, I would not compare.
They'll need to change the game design. And
that's right.
I don't think the team, because we know Ninja Theory has expanded since they got acquired. I still don't think the team.
They're not at that level yet.
They're not. Yeah, there's not that many people to go.
Yeah,
for that kind of game design.
They've been indie for a long time. Like, the gameplay speaks to that. They were not as complex. They're trying to get there now, right? There's a bunch of dev diaries showing how they're getting more complex with their combat and all that. The reason, like, to me, Hellblade is a rose that grew from concrete. It was an independent, out of nowhere team that came and wowed people with a small budget and a very interesting idea, and they shot beyond their means, right? And that's why it got so respected. The thing about Hellblade 2 now, I'll be honest with you, it kind of worries me, because since they did that, Microsoft bought them. Big money team have them now, right? Oh, they're now being compared to the biggest AAA studios and whatnot. And again, nothing taken away from Ninja Theory. Journey to the West, one of my favorite games. I still play it now. I think they are a very, very talented studio, but you can't compare God of War, which has been cultivated by this team for years under the iron hand of Sony, because we know how they roll with their AAAs, right? You can't compare that to even Senua's Sacrifice, because they are now an indie team that is now trying to be AAA. That's what Ninja Theory is, right? Their magic is they do a lot with less, right? Yeah. I suspect maybe round 2, round 3, round 4, fourth round of a game they release will be at the, hey, huge budget, AAA, 300, 400, 500 people all on. We're not there yet. So even now that comparison's not apt.
Right. The comparison doesn't work, but it's more than just the budget. It's the approach. Like, we found out through Jason Schreier that like Sony had this entirely unnamed team that was going to all of their games and doing
the cleanup work.
Doing the cleanup work, making the cinematics really pop, really doing all the extra work to really make those games as cinematic as they are. And you know, when you own Sony Pictures and this is what you do, like that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yep,
like,
exactly.
I can understand why Phil Spencer is like, but we don't really have, like, it's almost kind of like going to Sony and being like, well, how come you don't have all these cloud resources like Microsoft?
Exactly.
Well, we don't do that.
There you go. It's exactly what did Sony do? Sony went and got Azure services because that is Microsoft's core competency, not movie making.
Right. That's the point I was going to get. So, like, even though that's not in your wheelhouse, Sony found a way to provide better performance in the cloud arena because they knew they needed it. And they went to the people who do it best. Even though you are our competition in one arena, you a customer in the other. So Microsoft is going to definitely accommodate.
And Microsoft is a customer of Sony too. You know, like the VR, the AR glasses. They're still working on the HoloLens. A lot of those sensors come from Sony. So there you go.
So, listen, like, gentlemen, I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into the plan. I got family coming over, so I got to bounce.
I appreciate you being here, Boom.
Dude,
real quick before we continue, Boom, please tell the people for the one human who does not know where you are and what you do. Please tell them where we can find you.
If you're new and you don't know who Mr. Boomstick is and you enjoyed the banter, whether you liked it or you didn't, check out Double Barrel Gaming. We're closing in on 9,000 subs, hopefully 10 by the end of the year. That's the goal. YouTube is, you know, it's a fickle thing. There are some months I get 300 subs and other months I get 100. But if you are new and you're not subscribed, check out Double Barrel Gaming. 4 live shows this week, only 2 because I'm taking the last half week off with Mrs. Boom, who's my wife, and is on vacation. And follow me on Twitter. I answer everybody. I talk to everybody at Mr. Boomstick XL, and we can have a conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us. For anytime you want to pop in, man, you're always welcome.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
For those who don't have the information, all his information will be posted in the show notes when this posts live. So thank you, sir. And whenever you feel like joining us, we're always welcome to have. You're always welcome to join us.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. And real quick, Mondays, I'm looking to book a big guest. I'm waiting for the whether or not we're going to be able to get him. I don't want to shout him out because then if he doesn't show up, and then I look like a fool. So I'm waiting for the big guest to confirm or not. Everyone's going on vacation, so I don't know. But this Monday, folks, get ready because we're going to open up primetime gaming with the shenanigans known as the PS5 exclusive called Abandon. More shenanigans has hit the fan. We got an 8-second person walking across the floor. We didn't see nothing but a foot and a bench, and everyone went crazy. And folks, that studio, if you don't know, their history is not good. I don't know who came up with this whole thing, but I got a chart that really tells the story of this guy who, by the way, joined Twitter in 2013 and only became active, I think, last year. So it sounds like a lot of fraudery. And the second half of the show, folks, is where we're going to get into the Xbox talk. If you are someone like me that looks at the overall picture, Microsoft has positioned themselves to potentially sweep at this year's Game Awards in just about every category. Game of the Year, Best Racer, Best Sim, Best Platformer, Best Indie. Folks, if you want to get in on that conversation, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Monday, and I'm telling you, I got some logic to break down, and I think that when you walk away from the conversation, you're going to be like, man, Boom is onto something here. We could see all green this December, but you know what?
A green sweep.
A green sweep. I like that. Well done, sir.
Hashtag green sweep 2021.
I love it. Listen, SloMo, always great to work with you, brother.
I will give you the PO box to mail the royalties to.
Oh yeah, TM.
Send all of the checks there. I love it.
Very well
SloMo, done. Great to work with you again, brother. Love you. I can't wait to work with you again. Of course, my homie here, who runs an incredible show. It's my pleasure to support you and help you build up your channel. He's at 100 subs, folks. Let's get him to 1,000. He's Boomstick approved, and I could not ask for a better person with knowledge and gusto and just plain out awesomeness to be a part of Primetime Gaming each and every week, which he is a part of. Tune in this Monday. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy your Saturday.
Thank you so much, Boom. Real quick aside, folks. I love being on Boom's panel because I just get the fanboy. He's got a new guest. They're usually people I watch and care about, so it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to find out who. So it's gonna be great.
All right, well, gentlemen, have a great Saturday. I'll see you later.
Later, Boom. Talk to you soon. So, Mr. Boomstick, everybody, if you're not joining him, I don't know what you're doing on YouTube. He is the definitive on
the hardest working man. Hardest working man in gaming podcast. I mean, literally a podcast almost every single day. So yeah, he's always willing to jump in the chat, or join a panel on a Saturday. That man is brilliant. I love that guy. Yeah,
he's great.
Cool dude. Absolutely cool.
Yeah.
Dude. What I was saying though, I just want
yes, please continue.
The point.
Yes.
Is that with Sony going to Microsoft to get cloud, shoring up an area of weakness. Microsoft has an internal team that reviews games from their competition. Did you see that? Like they reviewed
the Last of Us 2 review they did.
And they said it was a masterpiece. Globally. I had seen a review talk so well about that game.
What you're describing there, that is the number one reason why when all this came out, I was like, come on, guys, have you not been paying attention? That review what you described there, that was my number one. Like that's what made me go, somebody's got an agenda, because clearly you're not putting two and two together here. How do they review the competition, give them a glowing review, and then go out in the public and go, nah, we ain't doing that?
Exactly my point, which is why I'm like, yo, you gotta do this.
But they are doing it. But that's the point. They are doing it.
Here's the thing: a single player, third person perspective narrative game isn't exactly a single player, third person perspective narrative game that Sony does. So it's like, if I'm not saying you have to have your entire platform be that, because I do even at this point feel like what Xbox provides as far as first party content is more diverse than what Sony provides. Clearly Sony sees that, they're trying to shore some of that stuff up, which is why they're working with third party independents to
they're talking more about multiplayer now.
They're really investing into Ghost Legends. Their factions has been expanded to its own thing. Guerrilla is working on a multiplayer game. They got devs from Rainbow Six Siege to help them with that, whatever that is, right? But I just want one game that draws me in like that. A game where cinematically, like, I just forget what else is going on, and I forgot that I've been watching a cutscene for 15, 20 minutes.
I hear you 100%.
Like, I know some people go, ew, I hate those kind of games. Well, I love them.
I do too. Well, like, if we're not talking Kojima when he's like a 30-minute cutscene and you just don't understand what you just saw.
Never go full Kojima.
Never go full Kojima. There we go. That's
half Kojima. Diet Kojima. 1 calorie Kojima.
Kojima Light.
Okay? Kojima Light. Yeah, there we go. Kojima Zero. Like it's Powerade or something, right?
That's great.
But never full Kojima. We don't do that out right here. You don't want that.
Know what, bro? I would be very surprised if by the end of 2023 we don't have exactly what you and Cog have been asking for. They have so many guns in the chamber, so many bullets in the chamber that they have not released yet, right? We don't know what the Compulsion Games is doing. And what were they doing before? They were making over-the-shoulder, third-person, single-player action games, like narrative adventure games, just like you guys want. Now, what they did, again, much like Ninja Theory, they're another one of those, we want to be AAA, but we only could do AA until Microsoft bought us. To them, to my understanding, there was a report that they were kind of coming out of pocket with Microsoft, saying, "Hey, we want to do more," and they were being challenged. So Phil Spencer basically said, "Hey, what show us what you got?" And they were so impressed with what they saw that the budget has been increased. So It's out there, right? But everyone knows gaming is hard. Like building a game is very, very, very difficult and time consuming.
Yes.
And people want that AAA crazy banger. That's even longer and that's even more time consuming. Somebody go look up how long it took them to ideate. I know that's not a word. And build and build God of War. How many years of their lives?
I think it was about 6 years, right?
That's right. How many years did they build Horizon Zero Dawn? And that was almost 10.
It almost didn't make it in the iteration that we currently see right now. And even in some parts, was it Shue? I can't remember. Yeah. Someone came to Corey Barlog and told him, "What you have right now, this ain't it, Chief. You're gonna have to do better." And
I remember the documentary about that. He in hindsight is appreciative of that because that's what got him to make the magic that is God of War, which I love. Man, I love that game. It's amazing, So no, I personally think that yes, I hear folks, and Cog is absolutely right. I'm there with him. I buy my PlayStation specifically for those experiences. That's why I buy the PlayStation, right? If it wasn't for those experiences, I would have no reason to own a PlayStation because most third parties I play either on PC or on Xbox. That's just straight, right? Because I like the controller there. I like the infrastructure there. I haven't played a game since 2013. I loaded up on my Xbox. It still shows me my save. That's their core competency. That's why I tend to play most of my third parties there. If there's an Xbox 720 15 years down the line, my save will still be there. I can have faith in that because they've shown that they are capable of that. Whereas PlayStation, not so much, So I see that everyone has their core competencies and everybody's working really hard to get to where they need to go, but they're also being questioned about what they don't do well, right? And now we're seeing that with PlayStation being questioned in relation to, when are you going to have a Game Pass type service and blah, 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 blah. But what surprises me is, even knowing all these facts, right? We all know this. All of us in this community know this. Games take time and iteration, and even when they're 15 steps in, sometimes they may end up going back to the drawing board, like they did with Everwild. The only problem that I have with Microsoft
that Everwild thing is so weird to me, though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and that's where I'm going right now.
You even show a trailer?
That's where I'm going right now.
Even know what
the only problem I have with Microsoft is they are transparent to a fault, and sometimes that's against that's against their own interest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If Everwild came out after
what we're talking about, so remember at one point Phil Spencer said that, hey, look, I don't really want to show a game.
Yeah, until it's ready.
Until it's ready. So like a year.
Yeah, they wanted to do the Bethesda thing where it's 6 months release. Yeah.
Right. And then a year and a half later, you're showing me games that you have there's no timetable when this game is coming out.
You have to understand, SloMo. I get where they're coming with that, and I hear the criticism, and that one is a very valid criticism. But you can't both say Xbox, show me the games when they're close to being done because I want to see them when they're done. We don't want any more of this what do you call it? What's scale bound situation? Mm-hmm. Okay, but if that's the case, then you should expect that there'll be no E3 for Xbox for about 5-6 years. True. Is that okay? No one will be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't both show me the game. You can't both wait until the game is ready and also expect that they have something to show you every year. So they're going, all right, well, we'll show you what we got. But then you complain about what they got because it's not ready. Microsoft.
But there's the missing context. It's like, I want you to show me the game, but I want you to show me the game. I don't want to see a JPEG. I don't want to see. I am sick to death.
So you're telling me you'd be better. You're telling me you'd be better served if they showed you wireframe incomplete. Because remember, everybody talks about, just show me a vertical slice. Vertical slice is not a piece of the game. It's literally a fork of the game that then people have to take resources to then go and do rather than spending that time to build the game that they're building. So, it's a hard place to be.
I would rather they put the resources towards doing that one time, and then from then forward, just your typical trailer kind of stuff.
I mean, technically, they did do that one time. They did do that one time, and then everybody hated how Halo Infinite looked. They did do that. They made a vertical slice. It even said demo.
But when is
it even said demo at the start of it? They did that.
Here's the thing. when you're boasting about being the most powerful console,
there you go.
You can't have your flagship game coming out where the draw distance is non-existent. When in the Warhog, the grass is literally sprouting up as the.
I was saying this to Everborn before.
Yeah,
you cannot open your mouth and say you're the hardest, the biggest hardcore console, and then expect the thing you show us not to represent that. And to release a game console and then have like Yakuza be your first party, your first impression of that, which has a horrible engine that everyone knows. Like, what's wrong with you, Microsoft? Like,
it's
then don't speak on that.
It's the balancing act. Like, show the game, show us actual gameplay, but show us representative of potentially of what we are going to see when we play. There's a way of doing a vertical slice where you pretty, because like if you ever seen a game that's still in like in production stage, it doesn't look anywhere near the way
nothing. It comes together in like weeks, even though they've been working on it for years. You know,
it's near the end where they start to get all the visual actually put into it. But for that vertical slice, add all that stuff in there for that vertical slice so that we have a good representation of what we are going to see when we actually play the game. Because as you know, typical as gamers are, we see a game, you may have an idea of where it's going to look like visually when it finally comes out. But if you don't show us that, the gamer's just going to be like, man, that look like dog shit. Like, I'm not playing that. And so it's like you're hurting yourself when you do that. When I say, like, I have no problem with like them coming out and saying, hey, we are announcing. What, by the fact, if they did this, say at Gamescom, if we got a collaboration of like a Bethesda developer coming out and a Obsidian developer coming out and announcing we're working on Fallout New Vegas 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if they said something like that. Wouldn't be.
If they said that and then walked off the stage, that's a W. I don't need to see a teaser trailer. I don't even though the Outer Worlds 2 teaser trailer was hilarious. I have no problem with that one.
But still, yes.
But like, the kind of Everwild thing where it's like we're like tree hugging weird.
They should have known what they were doing before they released that trailer.
Because if you don't know what the game is, and when you tell me you don't know what the game is, I'm thinking the game is going to be drastically different when it comes out from what you showed. But you know what that also tells you? That tells you that at the time they showed that, there was nothing else to show. Otherwise, they wouldn't have shown that, because they didn't know what they were looking at themselves. They just showed a montage of stuff. There was no gameplay because there is no gameplay. There was no idea because there is no idea. It's just kind of montage of like natural looking stuff. That was it. To the point where even the game director has now left the project because it's going in a different direction. You know, they are transparent to a fault. Transparent to a fault, and it also kind of goes towards something that, like, I did a video about this about what I called. I called it the Xbox acquisition pitch and why it works. And essentially, in the video, I'm talking about like all the quotes and all the evidence that we have that my Xbox Game Studios really is giving their developers the creative freedom to make and do whatever they want. And you see that now, even with the decisions the studio heads are making to go forward with showing things that they probably shouldn't show. Like and I look at it as it's a double-edged sword. The great side of it is that we're actually going to see some AAA creative things that you typically only see, as I said earlier in the podcast, with indie studios.
They're allowing them to keep the indie energy, even though they're not indie anymore. I agree with you on that.
The downside to that is that there is no true quality assurance going on, because then there is no, hey, I don't know if this idea works.
Well, hey, I hear you on that, but I will push back a little bit on that, because that is really I hear you, but let me see how I can say this. It sounds like that would only be really valid when compared to PlayStation. because
Xbox,
and I said this
across the board.
I know that. I know what you're saying, but what the reason why I'm saying it this way is because I was having similar conversation with everyone about, and he said something similar to what you're saying now, and that's what this was bringing this up. The reason why I say that is because, like, you know, we've heard the reports of PlayStation. They have their quality assurance ninjas who basically come out. Even if you're a third party partner, they, you know, if you're exclusive, they will lend them to you to make sure you meet the PlayStation standards, right? Whether that be in cinematics, whether that be in quality assurance, whether that, you know, all of that, right? But that's because, to my understanding, that's because PlayStation keeps they have a vested interest to keep their signature, right? They have a signature style. That's what people are looking for, right? But that would only be valid if Microsoft wasn't doing Game Pass, right? In a world where Game Pass exists, different types of games are for different audiences, right? If PlayStation had a Game Pass type service, you would see more AA's. You would see more little indie projects. You would see more little weird stuff, because there's a lot of people have different choices, you know, and your Netflix is that exact same model, right? Some of this, some of that, and that's what Game Pass is doing. And that's the reason why Microsoft can be a bit more hands-off with their development teams, because some people will like Senua Saga, some people won't. Some people will like Psychonauts, but some people will think something else is good. And because they have that library, they can justify all of them.
But that's
if you don't have that library,
all that is still creative freedom. I have zero problem with that. That's
exactly.
What I like
but if you don't have that library, if you don't have the Sony library
assurance, I'm talking about quality assurance. I'm talking about releasing Sea of Thieves with no content.
Well, but see, I disagree with that. Sea of Thieves did not have no content. They didn't have content that some of us liked, because there were some people who platinumed that game.
No.
Yes, it's true.
That game, look, I played it at launch. Hold on. I played it at launch. You know what content you had?
What?
You had.
I played it at launch as well.
Collect the chicken. Take the chicken back. Get money for the chicken. Collect the skull.
Well, they had the whole
fetch quest.
Keep going until you get to Pirate Legend. That existed there, and there was a lot to do there for that purpose.
That's not a lot to do. That's doing the same fetch quest over and over and over again until you hit Pirate Legend.
I hear you, but some liked that. I won't tell you I liked that, but I've heard from many people that even Code said he will fight anybody who says that game started without content. So I have to pump my brakes. You know,
years old and play poker with Jesus. So I don't
stop
everything that Code say
but I know a lot of people, Code notwithstanding, I know a lot of people who were really, 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 and still really, really into Sea of Thieves.
Look,
and
I
hear you on
it did not have enough content at launch. They've acknowledged this themselves and have addressed that.
I'll give you that.
Quest, other things to do, you know, like they came out with the whole Pirates of the Caribbean.
You got Beast Mode 10. He's remembering this is a standard DPS conversation.
Shut up.
Continue,
but like they acknowledged that themselves, but in their acknowledgement of it, they said that it shout out to the Sea of Thieves community and the gaming community for telling us what we needed to do to make the game what it needed to be. But my thought is, why don't you know that? Why didn't you look at this game a year before it launched and say the same things that we all said about it? Like, why couldn't you tell Rare there's not enough content here before launch?
Well, this is more also a community type game. So this is more a community type game. So I do hear you. Maybe they should have gone the grounded route, which you release it like in preview, let the community help you build the rest of it. That seems to be working pretty well for Grounded, you know, like releasing it like, hey, here's this game official release, gave people the wrong impression. But Grounded being released the way it's being released is giving them time to, you know, get feedback, blah, 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 while still building. So that's probably the mistake they made.
Grounded is definitely like a lesson learned situation. Let's not say, hey, here's a game. It's out officially. Nope, it's still in an early release.
I'm sorry. That's amazing. That is amazing.
It's a superpower, I guess.
That is amazing. You're breaking my show, man. Come on, Beast Mode. You're breaking That is absolutely fantastic. That is the comment of the day. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Continue, Slow.
But another example is State of Decay 2 that released broken. You know,
but State of Decay and all of them, they were all Microsoft owned studios in name alone at that time, right? They weren't really fully integrated at that time.
But this is still not really like even go talk about something broken and not working. The Pirates of the Caribbean expansion. A lot of people who played it said that, man, this should have been like cooking for another
day one,
2 or 3 months.
Really, you think?
Yeah. People were saying there were bugs, there were issues, there were problems. As soon as
I've never had a single
act
issue
of it,
odd.
Like Enrique played it with a group of people. I think he played it with I can't remember. He played with a group of people, and they were
had
like,
a bunch of bugs.
A bunch of bugs. Not being able to continue on with quests, kind of things, like stuff, and Rare acknowledged it, and they were like trying to work on and push patches, but it's just like it's these kind of little things where it comes to quality assurance. How is it that it's the internet that shows you what Craig looks like, but you didn't know what Craig looked like when you showed him at the Xbox showcase?
When we talk Halo Infinite, I got no excuses for anybody. Like, yes, we have the pandemic and all that, but oh boy, 343. You know, when all this is said and done, you know, I'm confident, and let it be clear and let it be known, I am the biggest Halo stan you will ever meet. I love specifically the campaign more than the multiplayer. I am one of those. I have played the single player campaign more times than I can count, and I'm still on the quest to get all those achievements. But I will tell you, you know, Halo Infinite will come out. It'll be great. I'm pretty confident based on the multiplayer I've played. But there needs to be a post-mortem. We're speaking corporate speak here. There needs to be a post-mortem after this is all said and done with Halo, with 343, because there's a lot of mismanagement, a lot of money wasting there. You know, a lot.
I'm on the record for saying, you know, I never want someone to lose their jobs, but I feel like Bonnie Ross is on the clock, and I feel like what's going to end up happening is that Joseph Staten is going to be the guy that's going to be leading that studio.
I see that too.
Still a different culture with that, because that studio has a culture of things being very, like, if you listen to a lot of what former developers have said about 343 is that, like, it's a very, very talented group, but leadership and how leadership runs things is not conducive to making sure they can get games out in a timely manner, and them not being, you know, really buggy or broken when it happens. I think
I mean, so far 343's releases have not been too bad, with the exception of Halo the Master Chief Collection, which was a whole different beast.
But
that was a whole, like, I will defend them on that, because that was a whole different beast. That game, people don't understand, and even I cannot, like, fully give voice to what an undertaking that game was. You're talking about netcode for years that's not being remade, because that's why people do the remakes. It's easier, right? They weren't remaking. They literally took what was there and try to stitch them all together. They bit off more than they can chew, but I think they deserve respect for even attempting that. Like,
I'm not saying it's easy, but it was broken. And
it was. It was. It was.
Like,
and you never get a second chance to make a first impression. You're absolutely
right. To a degree, like, you know, technically wise, I appreciate what was the undertaking.
It was the biggest undertaking of video game history. No one's ever done that before. No one's done it since.
But as a gamer, if I can't get into a match, I'm mad.
Yep, you're mad. Indeed. And remember, I'm the single player guy, right? I'm the single player guy. So for years, while everybody's complaining about Halo MCC, I'm like, I'm still loving the campaign. I'm playing it all the time. I don't know what you people are talking about. So, you know, I'll defend it, because the single player wasn't broken at launch, and I played the hell out of that. You know, but I hear you. When the end user sees what they see, there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. 100%. It should have either not released, or they should have play tested the hell out of it and went like, okay, this is not ready yet, or made sure it was ready before they released it. You're absolutely right.
Did a bunch of, like, what they're doing now with the flights with Halo Infinite. Do a bunch of like little mini betas, have them very focused. Like I know people have complained about the technical preview in regards to
at the beginning of it was like trying to order a Steam Deck.
Yeah, right. But that's necessary. Like I'm a big fan of The Division, and I played a lot of The Division.
Oh, you're one of those,
huh? Hey now.
I think it's funny because I'm sure Destiny people got smoke for you.
Oh yeah, all the time, because I always go in on Destiny, and the first thing they say is, "At least our game ain't dead." And I'm like, all right, but like
Continue.
a problem I always had with Massive Entertainment is how they would do their they would do these tests for people, test servers, test out the latest build. It was always on PC, but they would test out the latest build. And I back then I'm on console, I'm on Xbox, like can't play it. I want to play. I want to see the new stuff, the new gear sets, the new changes and quality improvements or new modes. But what I always had an issue with was when they would just have everything in the build. It's the same game, but it's the new build. Just do whatever. And I'm like, that's not good for you. That's good for the gamer because they get to play wherever they want to play. But it's not good for you as a developer because you have issues that you need to get ironed out. But like the majority of the people are in the dark zone. And they're not maybe the majority of people are playing your new mode. But then the old mode you had has an issue with this current update that no one's seeing because there's too few people checking on that. And so when the game came out, when the update would come out, it would be this deluge of issues and bugs, and they would go through their state of the game they would do every week, and they'd be like, we apologize about all these bugs, we didn't know they were there. You didn't know they were there because you didn't bug test it correctly. You sent this out to people and then let people do whatever they wanted instead of making it focused. So with Halo Infinite, having it focused on bot arena allows them to test this, to make this right. Bots are important in today's multiplayer games. People don't understand this, and people don't even realize it. You play against bots all the time. When you play Splitgate, and you dominate, man.
They add bots in addition to human players to keep things feeling fresh.
They want you to
same thing in Fortnite.
Good. Fortnite does the same thing. They want you to feel good. They want you to I'm having so much fun. I'm winning.
I mean, don't you played the Halo Infinite beta, right? Didn't you see the psychological experiment that happened there? Friday, everybody's like, "Yeah, we bossing." Saturday, yeah, we all right. Sunday, oh yeah, get me the hell out of here. Humans are here now. They slowly cranked it up higher.
And that's that. What they want is for you to be so invested in the game and that euphoria feel that you had in the beginning, that you push through, you get better, and because you're pushing towards the feeling you had when you were dominating those bots.
But only this time you'll end up doing it on humans. Hopefully, if you keep
and
going.
The thing is that like you don't know they are bots. Like Epic doesn't tell you, and when you first download Fortnite and you first start playing, that everyone you're playing against is either a new player like you and they don't know what they're doing, or a bot that's going to allow you to win. They don't.
And you know what? Their bot game was pretty strong though. Like when they hit the Spartan level. You had Dave Ellis out there. Shout out to Dave Ellis from 343. He was teabagging fools. His bot was teabagging people after smoking you, So they were actually doing pretty good work out there.
Which kind of gave me some Skynet vibes because they were all like, well, we didn't program them to do that, but they did it anyway.
But they did it because they see people's behavior. So they're copying it. There you go.
They copying the behavior. That's the thing, they're going to be, you're going to be hearing a robotic voice coming on the chat talking about your moms and what she did with them last night. Right?
Indeed.
But like all the multiplayer games are doing this. They do it so that you feel good coming in, and they don't allow you to play against the veteran players, because if you go up against veterans in the very beginning, you're not going to play the game anymore because you're going to get bodied. You're going to get washed in a way.
Oh yeah, you'll lose you'll hate it, and you'll be out real quick. Yeah,
right. And so they don't want you to touch veterans until you have got a good number of matches under your belt. You've hit a certain level, and then now you don't see bots no more. Now you're going up against actual players that are at the same experience level as you, and hey, you may end up running into a streamer in Splitgate who's Nightcrawler all across the map, portals behind you and caps you in the back of the head. You had never seen nothing like that before. But that guy's been playing Splitgate since 2019.
That's right. That's right.
so, but
isn't that the problem that Halo had though? Like, there's too many pro players, like
yes,
inching out normals.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that makes it so that like it's only the sweats that play the game. The sweats like me. It's only guys like me playing the game. It's not people who casually play it no more, because the casual people come in their very first match, they get destroyed. And they're just like, that's not a good experience.
I'm out.
I hate this game. Halo sucks. And Halo doesn't suck. You suck at Halo. That's the problem. And they don't want to tell you that. And so instead, what they do is that, hey, let's ease you in.
Yeah.
Let's let you learn how to play the game. Learn the guns against enemies that aren't trained to destroy you off of, as soon as they see you. And then
I think 343 made a smart move this time around, going this route. I think it'll work out for them pretty well, including the additional flights that will be coming. And I suspect we might hear more about that in the Gamescom updates coming up pretty soon. You might hear further flights coming down the pipe. I think they did a damn good job, and it changed the narrative on what people were thinking about Halo in general. Even the new school are like, hey, we might give this one a shot. In addition to it being,
it had those quality of life things they like. Oh, there's sprint.
That's right.
There's ADS. Although it's still,
I will say, I miss.
So if you get shot, you get knocked out of ADS. But there's still things for the common gamer to make them feel like, I want to play Call of Duty. There's some of this stuff here. Yeah. But then it's not Call of Duty. Yeah.
I do say I miss some of the stasis effects from Halo 5. I miss some of the spring. I got used to it.
Ground pound and
not the ground pound. I didn't like that, but I did like the bursts. You could like a dash burst of speed, break through walls, things like that.
And stuff,
the thrusters. I got used to it. Like even when I was playing this multiplayer, I was like, you hit the button, it doesn't happen. You're like, man, I got used to that. It was.
What do you feel about the assassinations being removed? How do you feel about that?
They said they will return them, right? They did say that those will come back. They said, they did. It's not completely gone. I do miss them a little bit, because they did add a little bit of something to that game. I do agree that is something that's missed. I will say in general, I like the way they threaded the needle of they didn't go too far in the future, and they didn't go too far in OG Halo direction. They kind of threaded the needle and stayed center with it. You can sprint the whole time, but it's not as fast a sprint as you're used to. But then you can also recharge your shields while sprinting, which is completely anti-Halo up until now. I think I like the decision they made there. I'm an old school Halo player, but I still would have liked those suit effects. But I'm cool with what we have right now, and I think I hear they might bring the thrusters and stuff back as pick-upable items at some point, kind of like the.
Did you get a chance to play against PvP players?
Oh yeah. I played PvP as well. I was I don't know if he's still in here, but Cyber was in here. Me, Cybernauts, and a few of the other community members. We had some fun doing that. It was real cool.
No, yeah. I did. I played with one of my homies, Vic. Shout out to Vic. Me and him always play a lot of multiplayer games together, but we played some. We look the difference between real PvP players and
it's there. You can see it.
It's night and
you could see it. Yes, you thought she was cool until humans showed up, and it was like,
like my first match, I actually screenshot it, because I was like, I was actually very, very happy that I did so well that first match. I got like 24 kills, like 10 deaths. Very next match, 8 kills, 13 deaths. But that was literally how my entire time went. But that's how
Halo is. Yeah,
that's how Halo is. Like you'll have your matches where you dominate, and then you have some matches where you get dominated,
where you get squashed.
But that's like that's competition. That's what you want, right? And I like that about it. It reminded me, and when I played it, it gave me old school Halo multiplayer vibes of map control, of like targeting power weapons, knowing when those power weapons are back
controlling the map, knowing where everything is, knowing where to go. Right. Oh, he went left, that means he can only go left or right here. They're coming back to that,
understanding all of that, and it really made me feel like it's like Halo updated version of Halo 3. Like a modern version of Halo 3, which is what I really enjoyed about it. I think the multiplayer is going to be just fine. I think they got their head around 100%. It. It's going to do good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So let's transition, and I hear the Halo talk and a few other conversations in the chat. Appreciate you guys continue the conversation. Big Bad Mo, I see you in there. Erodimus brought up a very good point that I kind of want to transition to. Fuzzy and Beast Mode having good conversations. I want to have a quick conversation with you about your thoughts. We've talked about it briefly on Twitter and whatnot, but let's chat a bit about the old Steam Deck since we are in PC land right now. Let's have that chat about.
See,
this
is why I can't be PCMR, because when I said my thoughts about the Steam Deck, PCMR tried to disown me.
Tried to disown you. That's right.
They tried to come for my neck on Twitter.
You know, crazy. I think we should just change these labels and redefine them, right? If you say you're a gamer, that should be at least 2 platforms or more. So that should be shorthand for I have multiple platforms. I'm a gamer. Rather than PC versus this versus, because it gets too hairy, you know. The minute you say you could be PC guy all day, the minute you have a problem with something PC, they want to come for your neck. No, you're a gamer. You play everywhere games are.
How dare you besmirch the proud name of Steam? It's just like
exactly. So okay. Let's have a quick conversation about it. I'll tell you what I think. I want to know what you think about it, and we'll transition. And we're running 2 hours. We'll make it back 2:30. You know, if we can hit a few of these other topics. And I appreciate you continue to rock with me.
No problem.
So the Steam Deck itself, I'm super excited for, but I'll come out the mouth and say pause. and say and say I'm excited for it for different reasons. You know, I'm the as far back even in my youth, I like to make things do other things. You know, I'm the one. I'm the guy who before I tell you anything I'm telling you, I will always say this is for educational purposes only. I like to crack things open and fudge with stuff, and I ran Linux on things, and you know, I like my PC runs Mac and PC and Linux all at the same time. I like doing stuff like that, and for me, the Steam Deck is the ultimate power user tool if you're a PC guy and you just want to mess around. Like, I have been looking for the ultimate emulation device that I can take with me, and I have many retro devices. I have the Retro Pocket and a few other these little things that play all these old school things. I'm trying to put my children onto where I came from in order for us to move forward. Not everything should be 3D gaming. I want to remind them of where we came from. So I'm looking for a device that plays Dreamcast. I'm looking for a device that goes all the way up to PS3 and does it really well. I have these devices also. I have a PS3. I have at the house, but we don't have enough Ethernet. We don't have enough HDMI ports in the back of our TVs for all this. And I'm not going to buy a hub with 15 HDMI ports to be able to plug in all my old school consoles. So I'm looking for a device that can just do it all, and do it all relatively well. And from what I can tell, the Steam Deck is really, really geared to be that device. Even the slowest one, even the one that just comes with your SD card and does not come with the
$400 one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It even has that one for those who for the power users among us has an M.2 slot that will come empty. So if you are a gangster like that, as it were, you can easily install your own M.2 and you saved a couple of money, a bunch of bucks, not spending the high prices that Steam is charging for the 512 or the 250, right? But in general, this device, even beyond its, yes, it's 720p. Yes, the engineering theoretically has been rated to make those games run well because the display is small enough that you don't need the equivalent amount of hardware to run it at the highest clip. You can run it well in that. Yes, there'll be concessions made. Yes, there'll be a lot of, back and forth. If people are looking
they're targeting 30 frames per second.
Yeah, well, they're not targeting 30 frames per second. You can hit 60. You can, but this is a PC situation. You're gonna have to kind of tweak,
This is where PCMR got mad at me because it's like they're like, well, no, you console noob. I'm like, oh, here we go. Now I'm a console noob. They're like, it's not like on consoles where you're locked at 30. I'm like, I know that. But if your engineer for Valve says we're targeting 720 800p 30 frames per second, like when you go build, like let's say when you go build a PC, before you go build a PC, you ask yourself, how do I want to play my games?
Yeah.
What am I targeting?
Yep.
Well, let's say I don't want to target 4K. I want to target 1440p, but I want to play games at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, at least
60. Buy hardware. Yeah, you buy hardware that
will help you accomplish that specific task.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. When their engineer tells me we are targeting 800p, 30 hertz, I'm like,
well, but you know, I hear you.
Can do 60. Yes, I could play these games because it's PC. It's basically a PC.
Exactly.
I could play these games at 60 frames per second. But when you say you target 800p 30, that tells me to achieve 60, I have to lower some
concessions. Yes,
concessions. Now, this is the same issue I had with the Switch. Hold on, the same issue I had with the Switch, where like,
but it's not the Switch though. This is not the Switch.
Hold on. Where people are like, well, the Switch visually is ugly. And it can barely do 30 frames per second in a lot of games. True. But then they say, oh, but it's 720p. No, the Switch is not 720p. Oftentimes, it's nowhere near 720p.
It's not even close to 720p.
It's not even close. And so if I'm playing games, yes, it's a small screen, but I'm playing games on a small screen, but they're not even 720p because I want to get 60 frames per second. That is bothersome to me. Now, I never said I
hear you.
I'm not going to do this thing. Like I got my reservation for that. I pre-ordered the middle one, whatever the middle version is.
The 256 version. Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of people on Twitter were coming at me like, oh, well, go ahead and cancel your pre-order so I can get one.
Well, you know, basically. Like one thing I will say to you about that though, like when I heard them say that they're targeting 30 frames per second, I took that, and I could be wrong. We don't have the full facts until the device actually comes out and we really put it through its paces. But they're trying. They came out right first and foremost. They came out and they said, we're trying to make your Steam library be mobile. Right. We're taking your Steam library with you. Right. That has a lot of ramifications. Right. You'll have no issues with Hollow Knight. But you're probably going to have a lot of issues with like Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Cyberpunk.
And that's the reason why. That's the reason why I think that 40p. That's right. Oh my God. That's why they came out and they said, look, we're targeting 800 at 30 frames per second. Because if you're able to hit 800p at 30 frames per second smoothly Cyberpunk 2077, right? It is the tip of the spear these days. Well, let's be real. A flight sim is the tip of the spear as far as hardware pushing, but that's neither here nor there. And remember, this thing is Ryzen Zen 2, meaning FSR is also an option there, right? So if they're able to hit 30 frames per second at 800p, right? That means all the games that don't have such high requirements, because this thing has high requirements, will then be swimming in the 60 frames per second. That's what I took that to mean. You know, I hear you. They should have been a bit more vocal about it. They should have been a bit more clear, because I think that it seems like they're trying to thread the needle.
It was not happy.
Yeah, they're trying to speak to both audiences. They're trying to speak to like the console audience as well as the PC audience, and I think both won't work. This is a PC that looks like a console, but it's a PC. You know, so speak to the PC audience. Stop hedging your bets with that's why they're like, oh yeah, you can't replace the M.2, but yeah, you kind of can if you go in there, if you're able to open it yourself. Like, you know, speak to one audience. If you're speaking to me, tell me I can replace my M.2. Done deal, right? If you're talking to PC console people, this is not the product for them, because there will still be a lot of tweaking going on, and console people don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thought on the matter. Like, what is your, I know you pre-ordered one. I know, like, what is your main, it shows up tomorrow. What are you doing with it?
It shows up tomorrow. I am making a bootable Windows 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'm dual booting. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, you can dual boot. I'm dual booting.
I'm dual. I will definitely dual boot with this. Because although I expect by the time this comes out that, because look, Phil Spencer coming out and
yes.
Phil Spencer doesn't tweet things.
Yes, and real quick to the audience on a related note, Phil tweeted out he got his hands on one. Obviously, Valve gave him one. He's been playing it. He sent a tweet out talking about playing for a week. Yeah, talking about playing Age of Empires, talking about playing Halo. Everything running smoothly. He's commending them on it. Like between the lines, I think there will probably be an app that will make it easier to interface with it. But even if it's not an app that'll interface with it, you can install Windows.
Steam OS does not have any kind of like anything like that, and a lot of people immediately when they saw it was like, "Oh, I'll do boot Windows, and I can do whatever I want, with it." I think although they know people would do things like that, they want to make it because there's a wide.
They want you to stay in the OS. They don't want you to
stay. They want you to stay in the OS, and they're going to be people who are going to be like, I ain't really trying to do all that, But they may be interested, especially considering who your competition is with the Switch, where ease of use is part of the reason why it's been outselling even next gen consoles, and mobility. That there are going to be people who don't want to do that. So in that case, hey, why don't you have access to Game Pass without having to go dual boot Windows 10.
And remember what they said. Steam is also
Game Pass within Steam OS.
Yeah. They're also planning on bringing that small screen, not big. Not what do they call their big screen? What do they call their big their UI change when you hit the button? I forget the name of it. Is it big screen mode?
I think that's
Steam's big screen mode. They're changing that big screen mode that you press it and it goes into that UI. They're gonna make that basically the Steam Deck UI on PC too. When I don't know if it'll be right when the Steam Deck launches, but somewhere down the line when you're on your normal desktop PC, Windows PC, and you hit that big screen button, you'll be looking at that interface that looks exactly like the Steam Deck. So I think they're doing that because they know some people, what do you call it? The diehard Destiny fans, are not going to be cool with not being able to play Destiny 2 because of the anti-cheat software, even if it's solved. Like, there may be overhead there may be, things to contend there. So
honestly, they need to stop catering to these Destiny people. I
think they need to stop catering to anti-cheat software because it always ends up being crap.
Right,
it always ends up taking resources
easy
away.
Anti-cheat is easy to cheat. The anti-cheat
That's right.
is like it's not really working the way it should. Like I think even though I hate how Valorant takes root access of your PC. They do that for better ability to dictate, or not dictate, but to detect when someone is using cheating. So like Valorant doesn't really have a massive issue like say Modern Warfare Warzone and Destiny and some of these other games have with cheating, because they have a proprietary solution that
it's working
takes care of that and is working for them. And even though I don't think anyone else should go to the point of asking for permission to have root access to your PC, because forget these corporations, and what if their stuff gets compromised? That's compromising your security of your own PC that you spent your hard-earned money on. But easy anti-cheat is like that's the solution that people go to that doesn't work. And hell, I mean, even though I bring that up, Bungie doesn't use easy anti-cheat, and they still suck at stopping cheaters. So
indeed, and the cheat that they use, the anti-cheat software that they're using, is not going to work with Steam Deck. At least not it doesn't work right now. There's been conversations about whether it will be working with their Proton emulation layer between now and release, but we shall see on that. And that's not the only one. That's just the most popular one. But a few others that use anti-cheat. I think so too. I think so too. I think, but by the time this actually releases into the hands of the consumers, all that logistical stuff will be worked out already. But yeah, so I'm like super excited for the Steam Deck, but not necessarily to play my PC games, because I mean, I can use NVIDIA software, and it has my Steam library, and I can stream it just like I do xCloud, like right now, all my Steam games, including, like I'm playing it through NVIDIA's service. I played a bunch of Cyberpunk, and with ray tracing and everything, even the free account gives you that access. So, there's a lot of options to take your stuff on the go. this is something new that Steam is hoping will make things easier for the common man. I'm just looking forward to like playing Dreamcast, like at the ultimate clip on this thing. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to. Let me not say this. I don't want somebody coming after me. I'm looking forward to watching other people emulate Nintendo games and have them perform better.
Yes, I'm looking forward to Breath of the Wild looking like boss on this thing. Breath of the Wild is going to look insane on this thing. Way better than it's looked anywhere else. I'll just leave that alone. But yes, let's move along. Right?
That angers the Nintendo fanboys. So
yeah, we'll just trigger some and we'll take a quick step back. There's one last piece of like just a piece of conversation that I kind of want to have with you before we close up shop here. And I thought it'd be unique to have that conversation with you because you understand the PC games well, and you play more there than most places. But DirectX 12 Ultimate, okay? Mm-hmm. When this was announced, and for those who don't know, in dumbed down in layman's terms, DirectX 12 or DirectX in general are quote unquote the tools that are used for development of games. A lot of developers, most developers use it. It's open sourced, but it's also a Microsoft product, right? They're the ones who put it out there, and it's in their vested interest that everybody use it because then right PC platform and all of that. And now what they're doing is they've always kind of the DirectX team was a Windows team that worked adjacent to the Xbox team, but now they're literally taking the building blocks of Windows PC development and building it into Xbox. So DirectX 12 is pretty much, if you're building a DirectX 12 game, you're building an Xbox game, which runs on PC, but with a few tweaks here and there, all the way down to quick resume, ML, machine learning, a bunch of these DirectX 12 features, even quick resume coming to PC, things like that. I find it very interesting, and a lot of folks aren't paying attention to it. I think that they're trying to isolate the competition this way, because if you are a developer and you're using these tools, you're basically building a PC and an Xbox game natively from jump. And PlayStation has a lot of these tools as well, but they went the bespoke route because as you do in a console space. But now it looks like when Activision or EA or somebody's building a game, it's easier to transition to Xbox than it is to PlayStation. What do you think of this?
Well, yeah. Also, now that for certain, NVIDIA and AMD are supporting supporting DX12.
That's right.
It's going to be easier for these developers to be able to use that, and I do like how they attempted to kind of like future proof it. Although that's really like no such thing as really future proofing it.
No.
But it should remain relevant for at least like the next couple of years or so.
Yep. And with this in mind, even the Series S. I've been having like a pretty frank debate with Everborn about this. 5 years from now, that Series S will be just as valid as it is today, even with its limited hardware, even with its limited RAM, because there are features in there that are basically DirectX 12 features that have been placed in there. The machine learning, the FSR, a lot of the optimizations that take the brute forcing out of it and instead of makes it work smarter, not harder. That'll keep that thing relevant for a long time.
I agree. You're not going to see the improvement in performance and visual that you're going to see from, say, the Xbox Series X, but what you won't see is the Series S falling behind the way people thought.
Yep. Especially considering that even PCs are still the lowest common denominator, there are PCs that are not as powerful as the Series S, many PCs. So,
but like that all is dependent upon minimum spec. And, there's going to be developers that are going to be like, well, I'm making a game. If I want it to be widely adopted on PC, I need to make minimum specs something that is that a lot of people
it's a business decision.
It's a business decision. That said, NVIDIA has now stopped supporting with driver updates some of their older cards now. So now
about time.
Yeah.
How old do they go now?
I think the 770 is like the
seriously
last
even
one.
still. I expect them to at least minimum the 9 series.
Right. You would think, right? But maybe that's coming soon. But now I think the 770 is the only one that's still supported right now. And but like a year from now, you're gonna start seeing like games saying, "Hey, look, you gotta at least have a SATA SSD to run our game." Like no more mechanical hard drives. Get that crap up out of here. It's too slow. It's not working for us. Like you're gonna start seeing that minimum spec go up, and it's really. You're not going PC gamers, a lot of them don't upgrade unless they have to. They're not like myself or you where hey
it took me mad years to upgrade because I like the 1080 I had a 1080 Ti liquid cooled. I was bossing for mad years. And I'm just like,
it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Like I've switched my GPU 3 times since 2018.
Really?
Yes.
Ray tracing, and being able to mod ray tracing into Halo is what got me to upgrade to the 30 series cards. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do it because my 1080 was fine.
Yeah, look, I like getting more performance, and I can always like even before like the way this pandemic stuff is, if you could sell an old card. If you were able to get a new card at MSRP, you can sell an old card for more than what you
bro. Like, I used my 1080 Ti for almost like mad years and sold it for $100 more than I paid for it.
It's crazy.
So there you go.
So there you go. But I think that if they start like say, look, we're not supporting this anymore. PC gamers would just upgrade. There's some PC gamers that's like they don't upgrade until they absolutely have to upgrade. Oh, my CPU is just like it's capped and it's at 100% on every single game I play. It might be time to move on to. I'm not talking about me. I'm just using that as an example. My CPU, I got an i7 9700K that's overclocked to 4.7 gigahertz. I'm good for a good long time. But other people, someone that has like an i5 6700, like it might be time to look at, maybe time to upgrade, maybe time to build a whole new PC. You never know, but it's you're gonna start to see that go up over time. What I really like about to get back to DX12, what I really like about it is how it implements ray tracing, and I like how if you heard of inline ray tracing, which is like it's like ray tracing, but like an alternative form of it, and it gives developers like more options in the ray tracing process. And I think like all of these little things that it's doing, variable rate shading, sampler feedback, like all that other stuff that it's doing is going to make games perform better.
Yep. And very much a performance optimization tool.
And it's going to shorten the development process, which is a big thing for me, because we've been noticing, you see guys like Sean Layden talk about this and see so many executives talk about how game development is costing more and taking longer each generation.
Well, but that's also because their what do you call it? Their aspirations are growing. They're trying to reach they're trying to reach for more as the gaming environment becomes more lucrative than even movies and TV.
Right, but the tools haven't updated. Like there aren't any new programming languages being really being developed.
Yeah, true. Most programming languages, like the new stuff, doesn't even get respected. It's always the old stuff that is tried and true and that's iterated upon. Yeah,
right. And so when you start coming out with game engines like Unreal Engine 5 that make it so even indie developers can make games that look like AAA games. Like,
it's amazing.
300 people made it, but 30
it's amazing.
People made it, right? When you start like with Microsoft with DirectX 12, where you're developing APIs that allow developers, to get their job done easier and better and be able to implement things like ray tracing better. That is the kind of stuff that's going to make it so that even though developers are doing more with this better hardware, that they're able to do it and not end up, hey, look, like development time on average for a game is like 3 years. Now it's 4. maybe it can stay at 3 or maybe even get a little shorter based upon like the shortcuts and the ability to allow developers to make their games quicker with less people and less and less resources. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to with it, and I'm hoping it is widely adopted and successful.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty confident it will be. Especially considering the fact that as Beast Mode pointed out, it is co-designed by the two of the two big graphics card makers. So they all have a vested interest in it. It's just very interesting and surprising to me that PlayStation went the bespoke route. Especially now that we're all on x86. It's a little unusual to me that they did that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that does. Because I like what they do, because as we all have spoken to, like The Last of Us 2, for instance, is a game that should not run on PS4 like at all. It's just not it from just a visual perspective. They did so much with so little. It's amazing what they have been able to accomplish there, right?
Yeah. So I think Beast Mode in the chat makes a very good point. He says it will continue taking longer. The tools move forward, and the ambitions keep moving forward.
That's right. That's the point. True. The ambitions are the problem. That's why when Sean Layton said that, I'm like, well, you could stay within your budget range as long as your ambitions don't grow. It's about the growing of ambitions that's causing the budget to balloon, right?
It's almost kind of like people who they don't know how to manage their money right. They get so
instead it's about getting more money rather than fixing it,
and then they just buy more stuff, right? So
that's right.
Like, instead of actually saying, "Hey, I got what I need. Let's leave it here." No,
that is exactly why that is exactly what I thought when I heard Sean Layton's remarks. Like some people took it seriously, like, "Oh, this is a problem." I was like, "Bro, back when you were making VidRibbon, this wasn't a problem. Y'all ain't making VidRibbon anymore." You know what I mean? You're spending 2 years on strands of hair for
exactly.
That's right. You're spending 2 years on strands of hair for Forbidden West, and then you want to complain? Like, how about you go back and do what you used to do?
I appreciate it because, man, I am so sick and tired of ugly hair or plastic hair in games.
I'm sorry. Let's take it to I was about to say that. That was just about. Let's take it to that place. I'm tired of black people's hair being shit.
Like the Lego block of the high top fade. That's not black hair. Like,
that's not black hair. No. So I love how Brap always says he's an Xbox beta tester. I am now an Xbox beta tester. I'm part of the insider program. So when they were upgrading their they didn't really take it all the way. They were going to change up their whole achievements and your avatars and things. They pushed out these updates to the insider program. A few of us got it, and they wanted some feedback. And the number one thing I said was like, yeah, just because I'm black doesn't mean you changed the white features, make it dark, and go, yeah, black person.
Yeah,
no,
black person.
It doesn't look the same.
You don't look like me.
Weird. I was saying that to them.
Let's just look like a white dude with a really bad thing.
straight stranded hair, just been painted black, and you good, right? No, I'm not, man.
No, I'm not. Like, could you attempt to actually do this a bit better? Like, I do appreciate the fact that, like, Frostbite, even though I'm always highly critical of Frostbite. Shout out to the homie. Rest in peace to the homie I Dizzy. Me and him used to always go back and forth about Frostbite. But Frostbite, the latest updated version of Frostbite 3.0 has some really interesting hair,
cool,
realistic hair techniques.
Black people.
Well, not quite. Like when I said we're talking about hair, I'm talking about like, well, even though it's not black people hair. But I've seen stuff that Unreal Engine has with realistic looking hair.
Cool.
Naughty Dog actually, even last gen, knocked it out the park with
hair. That's the point I was making. Naughty Dog spending 2 years on strands of hair to make it look amazing. It requires that much time to make it look amazing.
Arcane with Redfall,
that looks amazing too.
With the black girl in Redfall, who reminds me of a siren. And
shout out to Rihanna. That gave me Rihanna vibes immediately. Rihanna from Twitch. The girl from Redfall looks like they basically took Rihanna and made and she used to work for Xbox. I wonder if they did. I don't know. But it looks real cool.
they're automating these things to make it easier for these devs that apparently have never seen black people before to be able to.
So they need AI to
AI would take care of what you can't do.
Indeed. But no, I do appreciate that they're at least seeing that that's a problem, and they're slowly but surely working towards getting it right. The MetaHumans thing that Unreal 5 has been demoing, I downloaded that thing. You can check it out. Anybody can actually download if you have the Epic Game Store on your machine. You can install the Unreal 5 and play with it. Man, that thing is next level. Oh my God. Like the hair, the face, it's just insane. They're really pushing it to the next level with that, and basically giving it to anybody who wants to use it. Hopefully that will, go far in the world to the world we used to live, where just take that thing and paint it black. It's good enough. Hopefully that world is gone now.
Yeah,
so okay.
Showing a portion of the MetaHuman trailer on the last DPS show. It's amazing, man.
Oh, it's something else.
Some of the faces, like if you don't know what you're looking at, you would think.
Oh yeah. You think it's a real person. I can show that to somebody and they'll go, oh yeah, that's a person, a video somebody. And you're just like, it is as good as like any photorealistic, video you're taking of somebody down. It's amazing. You got to give NVIDIA the credit they deserve, because they are knocking out the park with all this stuff. It's absolutely something else. Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, I think we've had a lot of conversation today. I've enjoyed a lot of this PC centric talk. We could go to VR, because I'm big into VR. That's another reason why I play on PC a lot, because they do weird VR things that I'm sorry, but the PSVR I'm not happy with. I'm actually that thing's collecting dust on me. I've been solely in my PC VR space for a while, so we could go there, but that's a topic for another day. I don't know. Real quick, do you play VR?
I do not. I have never played modern VR. I've played VR. Like if you go into the amusement park, and and
they'll put on one of those things on you,
like the trash VR thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were just like, I don't think that's how they.
If you're interested, the best thing these days is Quest 2, because it bridges the gap on PC VR as well as like standalone VR.
I'm somewhat interested. I am a little leery of all the cables and stuff, and I got kids.
Quest 2 completely cableless.
Yeah, see, and that's where it's like getting,
and it runs off your Wi-Fi. If you got Wi-Fi, if you got a good Wi-Fi router, Wi-Fi 6, the Quest 2 is Wi-Fi 6. If you got a Wi-Fi 6 router, I can be in the backyard playing Half-Life Alyx while my PC's in the office. It's great. And like you, PC person, there's so many cool, weird things you can do with that. I'm playing the GTA 5 in VR, like weird things you can do, and it looks amazing. Like you really should get into it. And it's relatively cheap to get in. The lowest Quest 2 is not much more than a Switch. It's not too expensive to get into it. And even by itself, the standalone stuff is also pretty damn good. So if you haven't done it, I say give Quest 2 a shot. If you know somebody, maybe borrow it from them, try it on your PC. 3070 would shine in that thing, man. I imagine playing like No Man's Sky in VR in that thing. Ooh, it's so good. I've been playing that for a couple weeks now. It's very, very good experience. Anyway, so we'll wind this show down, because we've been going for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. SloMo, I could talk to you all day, man.
Absolutely, right.
I suspect that Everborn somewhere, if you're listening to this, he's like, yo, this man's he's out here for my job. Nah, man, he's not out here. We just telling you how it could be. We are in agreement here, brother.
I promised 75%. Less bad takes with me here,
less slander, and that has been achieved, brother, man. Achieved. I would say even 85% is where we are right now. So
ooh, 85.
So that's right. The gauntlet has been thrown. Next time we can all get together. It'll be interesting to have. I'm still holding out hope. Soon We're gonna do that DPS gaming circle.
It's a great show, guys. Gaming Forte may be replaced on DPS.
No. We're not doing that either. No, not doing that either. Nope. Don't do that. we respect the great Forte in this realm. Don't even do that. Nope.
Absolutely.
So yes. But yes, we're gonna wind this down. It's been such a pleasure chopping it up with you. You know, we should definitely do this again. And we're gonna have that DPS gaming circle crossover as soon as we can work the schedules. But before that, you know, tell the fine people once again where they can find you, what you do on the net, you know, how they can reach out to you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Once again, thanks for the invite, man. Glad to be able to come in, step in, and just like that, not fill the shoes, but or replace the great Everborn saga, but just kind of fill in for a time being and provide some meaningful conversation while he's absent. I appreciate the invite there. We definitely gotta get something going with him and Forte together with us. Soon.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
You can find me on my own channel, SloMoBackSlap, where I do DPS podcasts every other week with Gaming Forte. On the off weeks where it's not on my show, it's on his channel, Gaming Forte. So with that said, next Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern will be the next episode of DPS on his channel. I also do videos. I previously was always doing videos about indie games that I was excited for, great promising games, developer showcases. I like doing stuff like that. I have enjoyed the more introspective videos I've done, kind of like semi-essay kind of videos that I've done, or videos that really focused on the history of developers and the development process. That's what I'm working on more now than, say, your typical news updates that you see from some channels. So, like, if you're interested in that kind of content and you haven't subbed to the channel, definitely sub to the channel. I think you'll like it. I also started streaming on Twitch. I just recently hit Twitch affiliate, which is pretty cool.
Nice,
and
awesome.
I actually probably plan on streaming a little bit later today. I'm gonna I haven't decided which game I want to play yet. It's either going to be both games are going to play today, or I may play today, or games I haven't played before. One is, and they're games that are not new, but they're both on Game Pass. One is Hades, because that came out.
I need to get to that. I need to get that. Yep.
I might stream that, and I also might stream Psychonauts. I've actually never played Psychonauts. One, yeah.
Oh, so that's an interesting experience.
So I'm trying to decide which one of these I'm going to try out. Now, I play so many different games. I beat 41 games last year, and that's not even all the games I played. So I play a lot of games. I've only beaten like 16 so far this year, because I explicitly told myself I'm going to not play as many as I did last year. But I figured, why not like show people a lot of these different experiences? Because I play a lot of different games. I'm very broad in my gaming taste, and I figured, why not show some of these games? Like I streamed myself playing Last Stop, that's on Game Pass last week.
How is that, by the way? I've been wanting to play that.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, if you like a narrative-driven game that's kind of like Telltale, a little bit like Telltale
style, right?
Yeah. If you like those kind of games, then this will be right down your alley. It's got a very interesting story. It reminds me. I
want to get to it before 12
game that's like Crash, like like the movie Crash, where it's like
you're speaking my language. I'm there.
Yeah, but they intersect. Like it's like that.
Nice.
So I enjoyed it. I streamed the whole playthrough. Had a lot of people who had played it before come through and know that some of the decisions I made that was different than the decisions they made. The endings are really interesting, and even after it was done, I had a nice little conversation with like some of the viewers in regards to the choices that I made and why I made those choices. And so yeah, definitely check it out. You know, it's in Game Pass. You already subscribed to it. Why not play it, right?
Indeed. No, I've been looking forward to it for sure. I think that thing fell through the cracks because of so much of the other stuff coming out, the 12 minutes and the rest of them. But I will definitely check that game out. It's on my radar. I just haven't actually installed it yet.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. I don't know which one I'll play, but I'll figure it out. But yeah, cool. Man, I appreciate you bringing me on. Oh yeah, SloMoBackSlap on Twitter as well. Come follow me. I'm always saying something to piss somebody off at some point. Not intentionally.
A slanderer in his own right. But no, I'm serious. It's been such a pleasure having you here. You're one of those voices in the Twitter streets that I consider a kindred spirit of mine. We have a lot of the same takes. We like a lot of the same stuff. We work basically in the same industry. So I always appreciate your takes. I appreciate what you have to say. Believe it or not, I'm one of those dudes who have you in when I'm working here. I work from home, so when I'm working here, your streams are usually in the background. Hey, that's a good game. Let me try that out. And you'll see me chatting with you from time to time. It's real fun. So if y'all haven't checked out SloMo's channel, check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Twitch. He's doing some real fun stuff, and it's always good to see you growing and doing big things out here. So I appreciate you joining me. For me, you can catch me. You see it in the thumbnail there. The TKO Asante on Twitter. We do this show where we enjoy ourselves and bring it. I'm going to try and start bringing as many of the community members on as I possibly can. There's a lot of voices around here. I enjoy bringing them in, and we have these wonderful debates. On Thursday, you can find me on the Reel with the aforementioned Mr. Everborn Saga on the Everborn Saga channel. That is usually at 8 o'clock, or actually, yes, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. So you can come and we usually chat video games. We usually chat TV and movies there. We did What If last week, which was an interesting conversation. I thought we'd all be in rigorous agreement. It didn't go that way.
I have to talk to Everborn. He said I have to come on for the conversation about Dune after it comes out.
Yep, for sure. Because you're a Dune fan like me. We should really do that. We should really do that.
Dune over Star Wars every day of the week.
Every day.
Twice
every
on
day.
Sundays, man.
Twice on Sunday. But it's going to be a horrible mess in the movie theater. I'm gonna love every minute of it, but it's gonna bomb like hell.
It's going to. I can see the tea leaves. I can see it's the writings on the wall for this one.
Just like Blade Runner, one of my movies of the year that nobody watched. So there you go.
It's gonna bomb at the box office. I'm fine with it though. I think it's
gonna be amazing.
When it comes to the originator, over the imitator, which is Lucas. I will always choose the originator.
Don't start that slander.
I know. I mean, some people probably be really angry.
So yes, again, you can catch us back here again on the Gaming Circle next week. Hopefully at the same time. We if you see a change, that's probably because we have a guest that we need to we have to be mindful of the various time zones. But besides that, we've been having a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of chat. This has been really fun. I enjoy all the people in the chat. I would say the MVP of the comments today was Beast Mode 10. Thank you so much. Fuzzy, Big Bad, all the folks in the chat. There's been so many folks that have come in our chat and having conversations. Love having y'all here. Appreciate you guys. You make the show better every time. Again, check out SloMo's channels. When this thing posts, I'll clean it up, make sure I put his show notes and stuff, put his information in the show notes in case you missed any of that information. But please go check him out. He's doing big things, and you'll appreciate his work. But until next week, when we have the aforementioned Everborn back in here causing a lot of slander, we will see y'all next week. Have a good rest of your weekend.